Yo, what's up? I'm KallaTheYapper, and I'm back with another reaction. Today, I'm gonna react to this video by Vladimir, Vladimir, called "The Lolly Problem." I'm gonna say this right now. I already gonna disagree with whatever claim he's making in this video, because every person who talks about the whole lollies are problematic or whatever, they immediately jump to the gun to say that it's CP, despite the fact these niggas have never seen CP a day in their lives. So they're gonna use fictional content to be like, oh, this is CP, when that's not how that works. That's not what CP is. So I'm gonna touch on that. Also, I have a tab open for Zoom as well, or Zoom, the dude I made a reaction video to about his take on Nefer's story quest. Because he made a community post talking about how 2 weeks ago, how his video got taken down, which the name of that community post was Genshin's CP problem. Which, again, the moment he put Genshin in front of it, as you see, the moment you put Genshin in front of it, I can't take it serious because you're talking about fictional content. You're not talking about real CP. Because niggas don't know the difference between real CP and, again, sexualized art of fictional characters. So, let's get this reaction started. I will be leaving a link to the original channel, to both channels, on my video. So, you can go check the videos out yourselves. Anyway, let me go check the settings. I wanted to have at least that. You feel me? Speed is good. Okay, I think everything's good. Let's get started. Oh, volume. The volume not even on. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now let's begin.
Throughout the course of this video, I am going to share some very strong opinions. I wish that I could just ignore this topic and not really care about it like a lot of people do, but I can't because I myself have experienced sexual abuse as a child. And
I'm gonna say this right now. This is the first problem with this whole video. I understand he's gone through something traumatic in his life. I get that. But when you're using that to then judge fictional content to try to make a parallel between the two, already red flag. Because I know where your position is coming from. Because you probably perceive that these fictional characters are actual people that are being abused in this content, which, again, you can't actually abuse fictional characters because they are not real. And if you want to make the argument that, oh, this content promotes this, well, one, you're going to have to prove that first. Because most of this content that people proclaim promotes these quote-unquote problematic things actually doesn't promote it, and they're just applying that to the content to then say it's problematic. And also because he's bringing morals into a conversation about fictional content, which there is no morals to be had in a conversation related to fictional content.
Topic and not really care about it like a lot of people do, but I can't because I myself have experienced sexual abuse as a child, and because of that, I can't just ignore this stuff. I wish I could. But
another thing too is that this is misplaced morality and grandstanding. Again, I understand where he's coming from, right? Me personally, I've never experienced being abused as a child sexually, right? I never experienced that ever in my life. Now, my mom, she told me about a moment that she experienced that could have led to that, and it was crazy when she told me about it. I think she told me about it 2 years ago, but this was my first time ever hearing about that story. I'm not going to go in depth about what happened because it was crazy, but like it didn't get crazy, you know? Anyway, let us continue. And if I do expand upon the things she's told me, I will expand upon it. But anyway, let's get back into it.
I can't. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk about my own personal experience. But like I said, this video is going to share some strong opinions from me. If you agree, cool. If you don't agree, that's also cool. I don't
already. I'm hating what he's doing right now. When he says disagree, cool, but he edits in here saying, try to justify all you want. I will not change my opinions on this topic. that's fine. But the moment you say try to justify it all you want, you're immediately implying that this content is problematic or is illegal and morally wrong, which is none of those things. Let us continue.
I don't really care either way. So, that being said, let's talk about the sexualization of children in gacha games. This is Klee. She is a child from the video game Genshin Impact, roughly 6 years old. This is the website Rule 34. You can find a wide variety of pornographic pictures.
Oh my god. Yes, of course you can, because it's Rule 34. As Rule 34 states, its grandest rule, which is on screen. If it exists, there is porn of it. If not, start uploading. And mind you, there is no real CP on this site. As someone who frequents the site, because I'm a gooner. Yes, I have to admit it. Anyway, as someone who frequents the site, no. There's no CP on this site. Sorry to tell you. For anybody who does believe that, you don't know what CP actually is. You know why I can say that? Because if CP was actually on this site, homeboy, Baldomir, he could not put it on his channel. Do you want to know why that is? Especially in the US, it states that CP, to truly identify what CP is, it has to be indistinguishable from real life. AKA, the person in the content, the fictional character content must actually represent a real person or is a real person drawn in a fictional way. Right? That's the only way CP is truly defined as CP. And another thing is CP cannot be made ethically. You want to know why? Because CP has victims. That's the reason why. It cannot be made ethically. Because children can't consent in the first place. But again, we're not talking about children here. We're talking about fictional content.
Pictures here. Simply type the name of the character, series, or fetish that you want. Let's type the word Genshin. Wow, that's a lot. Now let's get a little bit more specific. Let's type Klee. Oh, people made pornographic material of a literal child.
No, it is not a literal child. I swear to God on everything. I hate when niggas sit there and say that, because when you say literal child, I'm expecting a real child. Klee is a fictional character of 2D art and pixels. She is not a literal child. For the love of God, for niggas who have problems with lolis, can we stop using the word literal? Because y'all don't know what the word literal actually means. This is by far retarded, and yes, I'm going to use that word because I want to. This is retarded to sit here and claim that Klee is a real child. She is not a real child. She is 2D pixels. She is drawn. She is not real. There is no one in the real world named Klee, and there's no one in the real world that looks like Klee. So no, this is not CP.
Every day I lose more and more hope in humanity. Needless to say, do not search this up. I typed it in but did not search it up because I am willing to do a lot of things for the sake of the video, but searching actual pornographic material of a child is a step too far, even for me. So please do not search it.
People who search up sexual images of Pokemon characters all the time. Mind you, a lot of Pokemon characters, especially their main characters, majority of them are underage. Right? But Pokemon is stacked with it. And mind you, again, this content is not CP. Right? I understand people look at it sideways because, oh, the character's age. But again, the character's age could legitimately be tweaked and be said, oh, they're freaking 25. Because the artist and the writer of the character's personality and whatnot can change the information however they please. Right? So it's not set in stone. It's not like in real life where people's ages are set in stone and can't fluctuate between, let's say, 10 to 25 just because they say so. Like, no. Anyway, let's get back into it.
It is truly disturbing how normalized pedophilia is within the gacha community.
That is not pedophilia. You do not know what pedophilia is. Oh, my Lord. More and more, I lose faith in humanity when people misuse words and water down the severity of said words, like pedophilia. Pedophilia is not something to be watered down to equate to fictional characters. Anyone using that word to do so, you're using the word wrong, blatantly. And it's a spit in the face to the vile act that is pedophilia and to the victims who actually go through that. Whether you realize it or not, that's what you're doing. You're watering down a serious word to mean fictional characters.
Would you believe me if I told you this was Jack the Ripper? Yeah, that.
I've watched Fate, Apocrypha. Yes, this is Jack the Ripper. And mind you, the Fate series is filled with lolly characters. This is not a gotcha thing. This is an anime thing.
Jack the Ripper, the infamous mask.
Also, there's 2 versions of Jack the Ripper that exist. This is only just one version of Jack the Ripper in the Fate series. There's a whole nother version of him that is in Fate, Strange Fake. You have to go read it, because the only way you can be able to see or know what Jack the Ripper's identity is when you go read it, or just watch whatever episodes they animated of Fate, Strange Fake. But even then, Jack the Ripper's identity is not fully revealed because Jack the Ripper doesn't even know what they themselves look like because they don't truly know what their actual real name is, because Jack the Ripper is just a title. It's not their actual name. But anyway, that's getting into Fate lore and whatnot. Anyway, let's continue.
Mass murderer. Specifically, this is the design for the game Fate Grand Order.
Also, he's wrong about this. This is not the only design for this character. This character got like 3 different outfits.
Why is he a female child and why is he borderline naked?
Why he's a female child and why is he borderline naked is called artistic freedom. That's what that is. Jack the Ripper is not a real person. Therefore, people can make whatever art they want to make of Jack the Ripper and present Jack the Ripper any way that they wish. Because, again, Jack the Ripper is not a real person. That the person who committed the murders, obviously, that person is real. But the name Jack the Ripper, that's just a title. That's not even Jack the Ripper's real name. If you search up Jack the Ripper, you're never going to find out that that's not even their real name. I think they're from like Scotland or some crap. Anyway.
It's unironically complicated, but long story short, blatant.
Good story, but her design has no justification. It's blatant fetish. The justification is artistic freedom. Now, if you want to call it a blatant fetish, sure.
Pedophilia. Often when gotchas
That's not
release these
pedophilia.
types of characters, 2 things will happen. First, the story will bend over backwards to try and justify the sexualization of a child. And second, the players themselves will defend these characters to their dying.
Because you're using the wrong pedophilia. You're using the word pedophilia wrong. That's the reason why. When you're using the word wrong and you're sitting here trying to paint everyone as a pedophile because they defend this, yeah, people are going to push back hard against that. Duh. What you think? Also, I would love for someone to name one instance in the story where the story actually mentions the fact of this character's design and bends over backwards to justify it. Because realistically, that's not what happens. What happens is the character just pops up dressed like that. No one says anything and they keep it pushing because no one gives a F. That's why. Anyway.
Dying breaths. This isn't a child. It's actually a 5,000.
This woman is petite. This is another reason why I know people don't know what the word lolly means. People think lolly equals child. That's not what lolly means. Lolly equates to petite body size. This chick is from 7 Deadly Sins. This is the wife / girlfriend / lover of Bon, the sin of greed. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they are in a relationship. Again, when you look at this character, people immediately think child. But guess what? There are real women in the real world that looks like this, that are petite in body size. Now, before you sit and say, oh, how do you know? Because I go to work every damn day to my job in a warehouse. And guess what? I see women of all body sizes. They're either tall or they're shorter than me. They got wide hips or they got thin hips. They got big booty, they got small booty. They got big chest, they got flat chest. I've seen it all. So when I sit here and see people sit here and talk about something, oh, this is the body build of a child, I know that you have not stepped outside into the real world to see what actual women look like. And another thing, if this character's age is revealed to be older than freaking 10 years old and is like 18 to 20 to whatever, there is no more conversation about, oh, this is pedophilia. That gets slapped to the floor because guess what? Pedophilia means attraction to children, not to adults. Okay? Okay, let's continue.
1,000-year-old elf. She just ages really slowly. That's why she still looks like she belongs in kindergarten. So don't worry.
Oh my god, are you making the claim that Seven Deadly Sins was pushing pedophilia? Oh my gosh. I hope that's not the claim he's making by showing this screenshot. If anything, I respect the fact that Seven Deadly Sins was willing to give a main character, or one of the main characters, a love interest that is not the stereotypical big chest, big ass. Instead, we're like, no, we're gonna show that, guess what, women of all different sizes exist, and have a petite woman be this man's lover. Because, you know, they exist out here in the real world, because people seem to forget that they don't exist. Which is a damn shame. For all my flat-chested girls out there who are thin, but have a little bit of curves or whatever, but are flat boards, I genuinely feel sorry for y'all. Because people, it's like the beauty standard thing, where people expect, oh, this is what women should look like. But no. The way women look is not going to just be big booty, big ass. Big tits, big ass. And extremely curvaceous. It's just not gonna happen. There's a lot of women out here who are flat boards and thin, and they look cute. I know. Like I said again, I've seen them at my job.
Worry, bro. It's okay if you're attracted to her and you want to jerk off and you want to fantasize about her. Because remember, she's 5,000 years old.
The age doesn't even matter at that point, because again, why are we acting like? Because this is an argument that people who have problems with lolly characters will say. It's either they have a problem with the character's age, or they have a problem with the character's body size. If you mention the age argument, they're like, okay, well, it's problematic. But again, this is a fictional character we're talking about. We're not talking about real people. We're talking about a fictional character who's given an arbitrary age by the artist or author for them to be X, Y, Z. The age can legitimately be changed whenever the author wants to. And if you want to ask, well, why doesn't the author change the age of the character? Well, probably because the story does not have a grand ending where they time skip 200 years into the future or 19 years into the future to be like, oh, this is where the characters are now. Because usually the story just ends there after the big bad is defeated and they just go on living about their lives. We don't get to see how they look 12 years into the future. It just ends there. Ends on a happy high note, and that's it. Now, the conversation about the body size. I've done yapped my head off about body size multiple times already up to this point. We ain't even 3 minutes into the video, and I done mentioned body size too many times. So the body size argument is also invalid.
This is a 1,000-year-old dragon. Just ignore the fact that she has the mental capacity of a 5-year-old and that everyone treats her as a child and that she is literally going to elementary school.
Another thing that he's probably not going to mention is the fact that there's multiple instances of Kana being, well, one, sexualized, and two, Kana being blatantly sexual towards homegirl right here, and vice versa, this homegirl being that way towards her. There's been multiple instances where these two are not having actual sex. Like, no, there's like sexualized or implied sexual tension between these two characters. One, because this girl keeps freaking pushing it hard because she's ultra infatuated with Kana. I watched Dragon Maid seasons 1 and 2. That's the reason why I can talk about it in length. Anyway, another thing that slaps this nigga's whole argument to the floor. I'm gonna pull up a link because I have it as my tabs. Here we go. Which one should I use? No, not that. That's Ladies versus Butlers. Oh, here we go. Seadra. Here we go. Peep it. Seadra, Honkai Star Rail, one of the Chrysalis heirs. She is blatantly an adult. Homegirl is small in body size, flat as a board. Right? I find it interesting. People ship her with High Ceilings, and you don't ever hear this conversation about, oh, she's a child. Oh, because of her body size, blah, 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 blah. You don't ever hear that conversation, ever. Right? And it's for good reason, because people aren't retarded enough to sit here and think that she's a child, regardless if she had the mental capacity of one or not. Goku got the freaking mental capacity of a child, despite looking like a nigga in his 20s. Are we gonna say it's problematic to be infatuated with him? Anyway, hold up. What's another character? Frieren. Frieren is another good character. There's a lot of childish aspects about Frieren's personality and how she conducts herself, right? But she has a lot of wisdom on her plate. Homegirl flat as a board just as much. Hold up, let me see. Are there any images? The free run that else we have. Let me see. Hopefully we got some more, right? Here we go. Boom. I think this is a good enough pick. Hopefully it loads fast. Is it loading? Pretty sure I clicked it. Oh, good Lord in heaven. I hate when this thing do some last second loading. Look. Hold up, let's go back. Okay, look at this picture of Free Roam. If I were to remove her elf ears, and I were to tell you that this girl was 25, be real with yourself. Would you assume that she's a child? Oh, hold on. Let me redo my example. If I were to remove her elf ears and I didn't tell you how old she was, would you assume that she's a child who's like 12 or 13 years old? Or would you assume that she's probably older than what she looks? Be honest with your answer in the comment section. Don't lie about it. Be honest. Because let's be real. If I were to remove her elf ears or cover them things up with her hair, and you couldn't tell if that she was a inhuman creature or entity, you would have assumed that Freerin was freaking 13 or 14 years old because of how small her body size is, how flat of a board that she is, right? That's what you would assume, right? But again, that's your assumption. Again, there are female characters that exist and women in real life that exist that are not big bootied and curvaceous. There's a lot of them that's thin. Hold on, let's see. Do I got it? Rebecca, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Here's another character. Let's see. Is my mouse over there? Please tell me it's over here somewhere. Okay, hold up. Here we go. Scroll up. Here we go. Rebecca, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. This girl is in her 20s. And people refuse to accept. There are people on the internet who refuse to accept that this girl is a loli. Even the designer for her character design calls her a loli because that's what she is. The team who wanted to get this Cyberpunk Edge Runner show out, they had a whole conversation with the design team from Studio Trigger or whatever crap, the lead designer or whatever, and they were apprehensive of having Rebecca in the show. But then, of course, they was like, you know what? Let's go through it. Let's allow Rebecca to be in the show. Because their thought process was, oh, well, because Rebecca is this small chick, there's no way a small chick like that could exist in the world of Cyberpunk in the first place, right? But they were like, actually, you know what? In a world where people augmentate their bodies to be whatever they want it to look, from being big to small, realistically, Cyberpunk Edge Runner, Rebecca would exist in that world. Because these niggas do body augmentation all the time. It is a norm, right? So why wouldn't a character like this exist? Right? Let's get back to the video.
It's okay to jerk off because technically she's an ancient mystical dragon.
It's okay. I'm gonna say this right now. It's okay for anyone to stroke their chicken to Kana. I know someone's gonna be like, that's a bold claim to make. I'm saying that because, again, she's a fictional character. She is not real. If Kana was a real person in real life that the artist based her character design off of, I would be like, yeah, that's problematic because that's a real person. But again, we're talking about fictional characters here. I would love to know, where are the real victims? Where are they? Where are these real victims that are negatively affected by this? I would love to know, because every time this lolly conversation comes up, no one can actually point to me where the real victims are.
This is a real toy of her that you can buy right now.
Yeah, because she's a fictional character. Duh. And mind you, this is a real character design. This. Oh my goodness, bro. Are we really complaining about homegirl character design? I swear. Again, this is another lolly character, but this lolly character would be considered lolly oppa, and I'm pretty sure oppa means breast or big breast. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. So that's what Ilulu, that's her name. That's who this is. This character design is not disgusting. You're pearl clutching. Get some hardcore pearl clutching right now. Again, this is not even a child. How can we sit here and call someone a child when their age surpassed that of a child? Oh, we're gonna use because they physically look like one. First of all, these are anime physics. You cannot tell the ages of female characters until it's stated blatantly. Unless someone deliberately designed the female characters to be an old woman. Most times, these female characters look youthful. They look like, they woke out of bed on the right side of the bed, looking joyous. They got big eyes, big cheesing smiles, this and the third. They're not even realistic to begin with. but anyway, let's continue.
The mythological creature that ages really slowly is the most common excuse games will come up with. Elves, demons, dragons.
Common excuse? That's not an excuse. That's the blatant justification. And not that, again, the way he's sitting here arguing, he's making it seem like there are no real women in the real world that are small and petite in body size. There are women out here who have dwarfism, and they're like 3 feet tall. There's women who are 4 feet tall. There are women who are 5 feet tall. Again, back to my job. I work with these women in real life. They are real people. They're not fake. Anyway, let's continue.
Dragons, angels, gods, aliens. Pick your poison. Choose.
Yeah, because they're fictional things. And fictional things allow for people to be expressive in that fictional content and that it is. This, that, and third. Sorry. I had to turn my mic off for a real quick second. Anywho, back to the point. Again, this is fiction. People can experiment what they want in fiction. They can do whatever if they want with fiction because it's not illegal. If you want to bring your morals into the conversation, guess what? People make gay ships between characters. Should Christians have the right to sit here and moral police what someone can and cannot draw? The answer is no. So if we can stand on business about that, we can stand on business about this, where we don't need to care about morality when it comes down to people drawing fictional characters. Let's continue.
Choose your fighter, but do not be fooled. These characters are children.
They're not children.
Kids, talk like kids, act like kids, and other characters.
Just because it does other things doesn't mean they're actual children. Because again, you're conflating real children with fictional children. And you're saying that there's a lolly problem, and you're trying to insinuate the idea that it's promoting pedophilia with no true proof to back it up.
Treat them like a kid. The head artist of Zenless Zone Zero is a man that goes...
Oh my god, of course he was going to do this. I freaking knew this was going to happen. I freaking knew it. I was going to mention Water Kuma, but I'm glad he's mentioning it. If you're sitting here insinuating that Water Kuma, the artist, who is a lolicon, blatantly, because Zenless has a lot of lolly characters. If you are making the assumption that they are all... Oh my goodness, I'm just going to end up repeating my talking points at this point. Hold up, let's continue.
That goes by the name Water Kuma. He worked on multiple different gacha games, and he is mainly known for his child characters.
Lolly.
Known and
lolly characters. There's a difference between child and lolly characters. Lolly characters refer to the body type, not the age. Again, we have adult lolly characters that exist. We have lolly characters who have large breasts that exist. That is a thing. That is a common thing in anime. Good Lord. Tell me that you don't know nothing about the medium without telling me you don't know nothing about the medium. Oh my Lord. Anyway, go to you.
And proud, self-proclaimed lolicon, aka he is attracted.
These are the ones I'm willing to risk showing. Trust me. He has done worse. Those other pictures are not worse. I've seen them myself. They're not worse. Niggas act like he drawn CP. And not only that, I'll say this right now. If homeboy right here is insinuating that this content is CP, why the F are you showing it on your channel? I would love to know that. Right? Because if this is CP content, why are you showing it on your channel? Would this not mean that you're distributing illegal content? The answer is yes, it would. So again, why are you showing this on your content? I'd love to know that.
Attracted to kids. Lolly is the Japanese word for little girl, and lolicon is someone who is attracted to them.
Wrong. I'm gonna again. If he believes this content is CP, why are you showing it on your channel, twin? I don't understand it. This is like blatantly This is just blatantly no self awareness in this. Again, I'm gonna say it right now. Lolly does not refer to child because again, we have characters who break that whole idea. Peep game. Tatsumaki from One Punch Man is a freaking adult, and she's the big sister of another character from One Punch Man. First parents, let's see, affiliation here. Crap, it doesn't mention her freaking sister on this freaking damn thing. Hold up, let's see. I'm pretty sure somewhere it mentions that her sister's name. Crap. I'm not seeing it. The mentioning her sister, but she has a sister that she's the big sister of. Tatsumaki is an older woman, and I'm pretty sure she's 25 years of age. Are we really about to sit here and say that Lolly equals child when you have a grown woman that's flat as a board and thin, and the artists draw it pretty curvaceously? I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, that this character right here breaks this entire mold of that definition, because that's an old definition that people of the Western world have used to sit and say this is problematic content. Now let's head back to the video.
The lolicon, aka he is.
Lolly refers to the body size of the body type of the character. Lolicon refers to the sexualization of the lolly. Simple as that.
Attracted to kids. Lolly is the Japanese word for little girl, and lolicon is someone who is a.
Just because it says little girl as well, it does not mean literal girl. It just refers to the body size of being small, petite. That's what it means.
Attracted to them. The characters that I'm going to talk about are kids, regardless of whatever excuse you want to come up with.
There's no excuse that no one's making. It's telling you the blatant fact of the matter. I swear, when niggas talk like this with such matter-of-factness, you are blatantly wrong, my guy. No, there's no excuse being given. We're telling you the fact of the matter. These are not real children. You do not know what a real child looks like if you're thinking of looking at this and thinking, oh, that's a child. That's not a real child in the slightest. Sorry, it's just not. If anyone in my audience who subscribe, whatever, if you have a strong disagreement, just let it be known, and we just gonna keep it pushing forward. But again, these are not real children. This is not CP. If he actually believed that this content is CP and problematic content, immoral content, why in the F are you showing these characters? Because they're blatantly sexualized. You can tell. Homegirl wearing the hot pants with the thigh high and is squeezing hard on the skin. You can tell just by how this looks. Anyway. And mind you, this is from one of the most popular gacha games that exists too.
Kaku from Zenless is a good example of this. So Kaku is an Oni, basically the Japanese version of a demon. We do not know her exact age, but we do know that she is older than Yanagi, a young adult woman.
Where did you get that information from? Please tell me, because in the game, this video was 2 months. Hold up. I think this video was 2 months ago. There's no information in the game saying that Yanagi is younger than Shukaku. I don't know where you got that idea from, because Shukaku, we saw a whole animated shorts with Yanagi and Shukaku. Shukaku was a little girl when Yanagi first met her. She is not some 1,000-year-old demon. Where is this information from? Someone tell me.
For argument's sake, let's say she's 30. Shukaku talks like a child.
Just because she talks like a child does not mean anything when she is an adult that has a job. There are adults out here who act pretty childish. We've seen it in real life. So no, this is an argument. Hold on, let me rewind so that he can say his whole spiel. Because this shit is stupid.
For argument's sake, let's say she's 30. Shukaku talks like a child, acts like a child, is treated like a child. For all intents and purposes, she is a child.
She is not a child when children don't have jobs. She works in an office. Yes, Shukaku is childish. She's immature, but she is an adult. You don't know why? Because there's even lore in the game that states that you have to be above a certain age. You have to be an adult to join Section 6. Because I remember that being talked about a while back when it came down to Shukaku. Shukaku is not a child, she is an adult that has childish tendencies. Which, mind you, even that is a trope in fiction. Oh my lord. Let's continue.
She draws pictures with crayons while waiting for Yanagi to finish work. She is not dirty, she is 6.
Just because her mentality is that of someone that's probably 6 does not mean that she is a child. That's not how this works. People in real life got so many childish aspects of them, or just blatantly childish mentally, but they are full-blown adults. We've seen it. Why are we acting like these people don't exist? Oh my god.
Thankfully, the game doesn't sexualize her, but best believe the players do.
And because she's a fictional character, that's why. Because people can do whatever the crap they want with these characters. And on top of that, Shukaku does have sexualization. Peep game. If you stop quickly when you're running with Shukaku in the, not in the open world, but in the combat zones of the hollows, right? If you turn the camera towards her, do a quick stop, right? She will do this pose where she's like, oh snap, my skirt flipped up. And you saw the front of my shorts that I'm wearing underneath the skirt because I'm wearing spats, right? That's the closest thing of sexualization that she gets.
And sadly, she's not the only one. The recently released Jufufu suffers from the same problems. Looks like a kid.
No! Oh my god! This nigga can't be more wrong. Jufufu had a whole story quest, and she even mentions to this person that she's talking to in her story quest that she is an adult. Again, this is the ignorance of people who think they know what they talking about when they really don't. Niggas have really not stepped outside into the real world and seen what real women look like. This is what this is telling me. Jufufu is a short, petite woman who is a lolly. Blatant definition. People getting butthurt about her sexualization when the game actually sexualizes her in her own combat. When she's over here got the cake all caking up, thrown up in the air. Homegirl got a wide waist for someone who's a shorty. Again, this is ignorant to sit here and make this. Oh my lord! Let me rewind and play it.
But
good lord!
Best believe the players do. And sadly, she's not the only one. The recently released Jufufu suffers from the same problems. Looks like a kid, talks like a kid, gets treated like one. Everything that I said about Sokaku.
She gets treated. She doesn't even get treated like a child in the game. No, you're blatantly wrong. With every piece of cutscene I've seen, because I actively play the game, that I've seen from Jufufu, my baby, she does not get treated like a child. People see her as cute, and she hates that because she wants to be seen as more than just cute. Even her character trailer showed that to us, where her disciples who are underneath her, who are her juniors, are sitting here seeing her as cute and not taking her seriously. What are we talking about? No. Wrong.
Maybe it's because I've watched so many movies. I feel I should always step in and help whenever I see injustice.
In the story,
just because... No! You even... Hold up. I swear, if he sits here and try to beat around the bush to sit here and say, oh, I'm still right, even though she has a whole dialogue about saying I'm not a child, you're ignorant. I'm sorry. I promise you on everything. If that's what he's about to do, this is ignorant behavior. This is deliberately trying to obfuscate information to sit here and try to still say that you're right. No, we're not doing that. No. Because she has a high-pitched voice means she's a child. Are we serious? There are so many women I've met at my job that have high-pitched voices. None of them got no bass in it. Again, this is showing that you don't step outside into the real world and talk to real people.
I feel I should always step in and help whenever I see injustice.
In the story, she reveals she's actually in her early 20s. No. Sorry to break it to you, Jufufu, but you're not 20 years old. You're actually 8.
So you're going to sit here. We're not going to use facts for this. We're going to sit here again. We're going to dismiss information that completely contradicts your claim about Jufufu to sit here and push your point that, no, she's a child still. Are we serious? Is this what niggas do when they sit here and do research for their videos? Are we serious right now? This is what we're claiming to be quality content when niggas are deliberately obfuscating, I don't know if I'm even using this word right, information that completely pushes back and dismantles your own claim about the character. Are we freaking serious right now? This is crazy. This is bad. This is bad. This is so bad.
Sorry to break it to you, Jufufu, but you're not 20 years old. You're actually 8. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. The amount of times I've seen people say that
you have got to be so fucking stupid to sit here and ignore the blatant official information about the character, to sit here and make the claim that she's 8 when she just said otherwise. That they blatantly wrote into her character, so there is no misunderstanding that she's an adult. The same thing with Piper Wheel. Again, are we freaking serious right now? Now I know this video is bullshit. Every point moving forward in this video is going to be BS. I know it is. I already knew this video wasn't serious since the start of it, and when it popped up on my timeline 2 months ago. I already knew it. Now I'm even more biased towards my point even harder. Like, oh my gosh. Good lord.
That Jufufu is the tightest woman in Zenless is disgusting.
So niggas can't make sexual comments about fictional characters now? Despite the fact the fictional character is an adult. So she checks the box already. So why are we claiming that she's a child when you just sat there and read information claiming that stated in the game, official information, mind you, that she is an adult? What is the issue? You cannot sit here and get upset about people sexualizing Jufufu when, one, they check the box of being an adult, which you claim that you have a problem with, the character, the lolly character being underage. So when the lolly is an adult, it's still a problem? Are we serious? What? You do know short chicks exist. Shorties, that's what we call them over here. I'm a Negro. I'm a nigga. My guy. So it's like, we call them shorties around here. She's a shorty, blatantly. What is the problem with people making sexual comments about an adult character, mind you, who is short and petite with a big cake? What's the problem? Because now it seems like you don't actually have a problem with lollies. You have a problem with females of petite body sizes that you will claim are children when they are not children. Oh my lord.
In case I need to spell it out for you, these subhuman scum are saying her vagina is tight.
Okay, so?
Reminder, they are referring to a child.
No! I can't believe you actually put this in your video and you actually think you sound smart saying this. You legitimately just showed information that completely contradicts and slaps your whole claim that Jufufu is a child to the floor when she actively states in the screenshot you showed that she was an adult. Why are you still claiming that she's a child when you blatantly just saw information that slaps yours to the wall that she says that I'm an adult? Again, adult women of 4 feet tall exist. Adult women of 5 feet tall exist. Women above 5'3" exist. And lower than 5'3" exist. Because they're real people. They exist in real life. There are people out here like that. Ladies. The ladies who are watching my content right now, go ahead, state in the comment section just how tall you are. More than likely, I'm going to see someone be like, oh, I'm 5'3". I'm 5'5", or I'm 5 foot. I'm 4'9". More than likely, I'm going to see that. Because guess what? They exist.
She's 20 years old. No.
Yes.
She's not.
Yes, she is.
How old do you think this character is? Well,
wait a minute. No. You can't sit there and play that game. No. I'm disliking the video immediately. Because one, this whole section right here about Jufufu, you are blatantly obfuscating information to sit here and say, no, she's still a child, despite the fact game official knowledge, official information about the game says that she's otherwise, and you're still pushing that. So you're getting a dislike from me for being dishonest in your video. Anyway, let's continue.
No, she's not. How old do you think this character is? Well, as of me recording this, we don't know yet. However, Shinatsu, from a purely visual perspective, looks like a kindergartner.
Just because she looked like that does not mean that she is. If she is revealed to be 19, you're still going to say that she's a child and she's 8 years old, despite the fact her actual age being 19. Because you just did that with Jufufu. So now I can sit here and confidently say that any point of criticism you make forward about this whole lolly conversation is invalid if you're going to sit here and ignore blatant information that contradicts your point.
Her clothing is actually a type of Japanese fashion that is supposed to invoke a young look, hence the messy clothes and big childlike backpack. Her design in and of itself is fine, and liking her design is also okay, but the blatant sexualization and adult material about her made by the fan base is not, regardless of
It is fine because, again, these are fictional characters, not real people. I'm sorry, you're gonna keep hearing me repeat this point over and over because niggas don't know the difference between real people and fictional characters. You really don't. And this content creator right here, Baldemir, is a prime example of someone who does not know the difference. And just because her character design, the elements of her character design is supposed to invoke a younger appearance or a younger look, does not equate to, oh, she's a child. Sorry, that's not how that works.
regardless of her actual age, she is very clearly supposed to resemble a child. Once again, if you are attracted to her, you deserve a slow, agonizing death.
So now we're condemning people to death over fictional characters. Not real actual crimes, not real problematic things, but fictional characters. We're condemning people to death over fictional characters. Okay, bro. If that's what you want to push in your content into the audience who watches you, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not down for that.
Before we continue, I want to make it perfectly clear there is nothing wrong with liking or having child characters in games or other forms of media. There are plenty.
What's crazy is the characters you're showing on your screen aren't even children. Kalita herself, Kalita from the freaking Bellabog Industries isn't even a child.
Characters.
That's the crazy part. Hold up, where's she at?
Or other forms.
Kalita is an adult. She is a petite, short chick who is an adult, and there's a lot of sexualized art about Kalita taking devious back shots from being bigger. Go check that Rule 34 if you want. You go find it. Anyway, but to get back to the point, yeah, like this character right here is an adult. By your logic, you're deeming that it is problematic for someone to make sexual art of this character, despite the fact that she's an adult. So at this point, it doesn't even matter if the character is an adult or not, right? If her age says that she's an adult, it doesn't even matter at that point because now you're just basing it off looks. And if you're basing it off looks, I'm sorry to tell you, there's real women in the real world that are short, just like Kalita, who are just as flat-boarded, just like Kalita. They exist. Let's not act like they don't. Oh my lord, this video is so bad.
There are plenty of stories you can tell with a child character in a piece of media. And I think these stories are worth telling. Personally, I really like Klee. The idea of a 5-year-old running around and blowing stuff up with bombs she made is really funny. But there is a very clear difference between characters like Klee and characters like Jack the Ripper or Kana. Kids that are very clearly being exploited by their creators.
Oh my god! He did it! He sat here and admitted that he views these characters as real people instead of fictional characters. And he said, did you just hear what he just said? He said that they're being exploited. Do not misunderstand the verbiage that's being said. He said being exploited by... Hold on, let's re-listen to that one more time. Let's re-listen to that one more time.
Kids that are very clearly being exploited by their creators and fan base.
He's saying that these fictional characters are being exploited by their creator of the artwork and by the fan base. I'm going to tell you this right now because this is another thing people forget about these fictional characters. These fictional characters are a product meant to be sold, meant to make the money on. They are not real people. Again, you cannot ethically make CP. You can't. You can't even ethically distribute it because it's illegal. My guy, by your own sense of your own logic that you've been pushing this whole video, you shouldn't even be presenting this content on your channel. And your channel, honestly, this video should be reported for quote unquote CP. By all means, because by your logic, this is CP and you're showing it on your channel. Your channel should be reported for this. I'm gonna be honest with you. But anyway, to get back to the point, again, y'all heard what he said. He views from his own mouth. I'm not even obfuscating. I'm not even mincing words. I'm not twisting his words or anything like that. He blatantly just said that these fictional characters are being exploited by the author and by the fan base. He's treating them like real people when they're not real people. I knew since the start of this video that he would make such a claim and that would be his point of view of this content. I knew that would be the case, and he proved it to me as we continue watching. I'm glad I didn't click off from this video and say, like, F it, I'm not going to continue this reaction. No, I'm glad that I'm a yapper who's going to sit here and push back against these nonsensical shit like this. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because I feel strongly about this content. Because, again, this is fictional content. This is not real CP. People do not know the difference between the two. Again, like I said, this is content meant to be sold via a video game towards the Asian player base. That's what this content is mainly aimed for. Because guess what? Asian women, believe it or not, are pretty small and short. They're not big, curvaceous like Western women. Let's get back into the video, because this was crazy.
Is really funny. But there is a very clear difference between characters like Klee and characters like Jack the Ripper or Kana, kids that are very clearly being exploited by their creators and fan base. Although developers will sometimes try to justify this behavior, other times they go full mask off and don't even pretend. Here's the thing, in the real world,
yeah, they become mask off because they don't care about this nonsense of people morally grandstanding about fictional characters who are not real people, who cannot truly be exploited because they can't become victims. My lord. I got my McDonald's over here and it just keep getting cold as I yap. My fries are losing its flavor by each passing second. Oh my lord, this is such a bad video. And I knew it was going to be bad when he started trying to use garner sympathy points by mentioning how he was sexually abused as a child. I knew that he was going to use that in some shape or way to sit here and proclaim that these fictional characters are victims. These characters are not victims of nothing because they don't exist. They don't have a consciousness. They can't consent to anything because they can't even speak. They're not real. This is delusional as F.
Sadly, kids are exploited all the time, all over the world. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am an example of that. I do think it is worth exploring underage characters, whether they be teenagers or children, in pieces of media. Like I said, there are a wide variety of stories you can tell, whether they be lighthearted fun or dark, tragic stories. But these stories must be handled with the weight, respect, and delicacy it deserves.
Yeah, but that's only if the story is supposed to be dark. Most of these characters that you shown on screen are not from stories that are dark. Jack the Ripper from Fate Apocrypha, their moment in the story was sad, right? But it wasn't some dark thing that was like, oh, these are what children go through. Let us handle it with extreme care. No, it wasn't like that. Again, most of these characters he's showing on screen, they haven't gone through some dark story that's something that children have gone through and it must be handled with care. Most of these characters are not going through such a story. The characters that do go through such a story, such as, case in point, Togepi's Original Sin, that story was handled with great care. There's no sexualizing of none of the characters. It was handled with such great care. But again, that's not even related to this conversation, honestly, other than it being handled with great care because of the themes in it. It was dark and serious. And just because there's children out here that suffer through sexual abuse, physical abuse, and whatnot, that does not mean that any content, fictional content that people make that has children in it needs to be sitting here and cater to what they've gone through. I know that sounds harsh to say, but that's the truth. Not every child's story is a sob story. Not every child's story is a story about abuse. As someone who's never gone through it, my childhood, if it was made into fictional content, granted, that would technically be illegal. But like, let's say someone would make a story where the child doesn't go through any of that and is sunshine and rainbows with a little bit of sadness here or there. It'll still be valid just as much as a child's story of like going through sexual abuse. It'll be just as valid. They're both valid. Anyway, hold on. Let's rewind. Come over here. Yip yammering. My goodness, this video is so bad. We're not even 20 minutes in.
The idea of a 5-year-old running around and blowing stuff up with bombs she made is really funny. But there is a very clear difference between characters like Klee and characters like Jack the Ripper or Kana, kids that are very clearly being exploited by their creators and fan base. Although developers will sometimes try to justify this behavior, other times they go full mask off and don't even pretend. Here's the thing. In the real world, sadly, kids are exploited all the time.
Also, I find this to be disgusting that he's saying right now. To sit here and compare what children go through of being sexually exploited or whatever, even sex trafficked, and compare that to a fictional character whose whole existence is solely to be a product to be sold, because again, it's fictional content that promotes a video game or manga or what have you. Those two things are not the same. For you, I find it crazy for someone like such as you who has gone through that personally yourself to sit here and conflate the two like they're the same is disgusting to me. Because you're watering down the terms, these words that hold serious weight to sit here and say, oh, it's fictional content, therefore it's problematic. I find that disgusting. Personally. If you take offense to that, I don't care. Because that's disgusting. You don't truly care for children if you're conflating fictional content to this real life stuff that's go out here. You don't care for them. If you did, you actually put forth some effort into that rather than complain about fictional characters. For the love of God.
All over the world. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am an example of that. I do think it is worth exploring underage characters, whether they be teenagers or children, in pieces of media. Like I said, there are a wide variety of stories you can tell, whether they be lighthearted fun or dark tragic stories. But these stories must be handled with the weight, respect, and delicacy it deserves. Gachas, anime, etc. do not respect this topic most of the time. Instead, they are continuing the cycle of degeneracy.
Provide proof, please. I mentioned Tokupi's original sin, but I would love for him to promote, I would love for not just him, but anybody watching this video right now, to please tell me, provide an example of an anime story that touches on sexual abuse of children and it doesn't handle it properly. I'll wait. Go ahead, type it in the comment section, drop the name of the anime, and I will go watch it myself and get back to you about it.
I am trying my best to handle this topic with respect, but of course, because of my own experience, remaining purely objective is extremely difficult. Apologies in advance.
Well, that showed that you couldn't be objective when you sat here and dismissed official information about Jufufu's character, stating that she was an adult in her early 20s, because you wanted to say that she's a child because of the way she looks. But that's not how that works, because she's an adult. Because guess what? Petite women exist. Fuck out of here.
For the strong language. What's so disturbing about these characters is that the only reason they are technically adults is in order to give people an excuse. Do you think this preschooler is super hot? Well, no worries, bro, because she's actually a robot that was built 50 years ago. Technically, she's of age.
The author can make the character whatever the fucking age they want them to make. Because again, they're not real people. They're fictional characters. And they are a product meant to be sold. Because again, we're talking about a gacha game here. We're talking about anime. We're talking about manga. All this stuff is meant to be sold. It's meant to be purchased. Therefore, the artist can write and give these characters whatever arbitrary age or whatever arbitrary lore they want for said character. It's not that deep.
So feel free to fantasize about fucking her. Although developers will sometimes try to justify this behavior, other times they go full mask off and don't even pretend. Blue Archive is a gacha built around sexualizing children. The majority of playable characters are literally high schoolers. How old do you think this character is?
Someone would think that a character is an adult because of the way they look. But again, that goes into people assuming the age because they think big, busty, and curvaceous means adult when it doesn't. Again, and this ties back into how people don't know what lolis are at all. And this video proves it. Lolis are not about children. Lolis are about petite, body-sized female characters. That's it. And are you going to have characters who are like, say, 16, 15, 14 fall underneath that category? Yeah, of course you are. But of course you're going to have adult characters that fall into that category as well. The one thing they all have in common, petite body size.
18, 17, 16. Nope, she is 15. Everybody that plays this game.
Also, we need to state this as well. The reason, actually, hold up. What was I about to say? Crap, it was on the tip of my tongue. Crap, I done lost the point I was gonna say. Never mind, forget it. Let's continue.
Characters are literally high schoolers. How old do you think this character is?
Also, a lot of this content that's, mind you, from Japan, mainly from Japan or Asian countries, the reason why most of the settings for these characters are in high school is because they love to reminisce about their high school lives. I think I remember reading an article about it, of why it is that most anime take place in high school, because they love reminiscing back on their high school lives, because those were their glory days. That was their highlights of their lives, right? They love reminiscing about it, which is why so many anime, again, is focused and set in that setting. Blue Archive is one of those things, having that setting of high school.
Is 18, 17, 16. Nope, she is 15.
You mentioned the age of 16 and 17 earlier. It would be no different if you had mentioned those ages and not just 15. 15 is not some dramatic thing to scream, oh, 15. 16 and 17, you can be just as dramatic about. I don't know why you're being dramatic about just the age number 15 is. Like, come on.
Everybody that plays this game is a blatant pedophile. You can try to defend.
You do not know what a pedophile is. Last time I checked, pedophiles are attracted to children, not pixels. Unless we're changing the definition of what pedophile means to be attracted to pixels. And if so, you are watering down the word what pedophile is and what it means and the vile act that connects to it. Like I said earlier, you do not know what this word means.
Defend yourself all you want. I don't want to hear it. You should never be around children.
And I don't want to hear someone making such claims with no real proof to back up their bold accusation that people are pedophile because they play Blue Archive. I don't want to hear it from somebody who's going to actively ignore official information about a character to see him still push their narrative saying, oh, well, it's a child because I say so. Which is your subjective opinion versus the fact of the matter. Cool, bro.
Children, and I hope you don't have kids of your own or younger siblings, because I do not trust you around children.
Also, the insinuation that because you engage in this content, therefore you are a pedophile, is one, wrong, and there's no proof to back up the claim that engaging in such content will lead down that path for you as an individual. No, the truth of the matter is, the real actual truth of the matter is, people who have such tendencies, pedophilic tendencies to themselves, already have it way before they even engage in this content that is lolly. Because let's be for real, lolly did not become a part of the mainstream stuff until years down the road. Tell me, how did pedophiles end up being sexually attracted to children before they even came across any content such as lolly, which again doesn't equate to children, but I'm using it to prove my point here. Guess what? How did they get sexually attracted to underage people in real life? Was it because of fictional content? No, because they already had that tendency in them. That's why. Or they were touched inappropriately by a family member, usually an uncle or auntie or whatever, and they thought, oh, well, because they did that to me as a child, therefore it must be fine to do, and therefore I'm going to do it onto another person. You cannot blame the content, this fictional content, for turning people into these things when that's not the direct connection. Realistically, they already have such tendencies, and they're using this content as this, let's say, stopping point before they get to doing any real act of harm to a real person. That's realistically the situation, how it is. This content doesn't turn them into it. They were already like that before they even came across this content.
You deserve to be in jail, because I truly fear for that child's safety.
I don't believe you actually care for children if you're wasting time on fictional characters rather than actually ensuring that children are actually safe. Shoot, if you were talking about the whole Roblox situation, I believe every word you were saying. But unfortunately, that's not this conversation, is it? Granted, this video was 2 months ago.
In jail, because I truly fear for that child's safety. One of the most common defenses people will use to justify their pedophilia is that these characters are not real. It's just a drawing.
Oh, well, he's going to touch on the very thing I was talking about. That I just got done yapping about literally less than 5 seconds ago. Let's continue. Because he's going to be blatantly wrong about this anyway.
Used to justify their pedophilia is that these characters are not real. It's just a drawing, bro. It's not real. It's just a collection of pixels. Hey, bro, sis, just because it's not real does not excuse your attraction to a child.
Yeah, you're going to put in a character who's above the age of 18 as a child. Okay, bro. So can people not be sexually attracted to these petite female characters? Because that's what the claim you're making now. Because this character is an adult. She's a small adult. That's what she is. And again, like I said earlier, he's making this claim that, oh, well, is the weak defense that they bring up is pixels. That's not a defense. That's the fact of the situation. Again, you just sat here and said that these drawings were being exploited by the creators of the artwork and by the fan base and tried to proclaim that this fictional character is a victim. How can I seriously take anything else you say in this video serious about, oh, well, this defense that they make is weak? My nigga, you just proved to me earlier that you view these fictional characters as real people instead of, this goes back to that whole Twitter meme, right? That whole Twitter meme or saying that people put more effort caring about fictional characters than caring about real people. This video is the prime example of that. Like, oh my God.
It's just a drawing, bro. It's not real. It's just a collection of pixels. Hey, bro, sis, just because it's not real does not excuse your attraction to a child.
It's not a child. You do not know what children are. You really don't. And it's proven to me throughout this video.
It doesn't matter that she's an ancient god or she just looks young. It's
the real women in the real world look young, who have the same body size of these lollies. They look really young. I know because I work with them at my job. And most of the time, these ladies don't even have the arm strength to move items from point A to point B, and they keep asking me for help. Oh boy, we're not even. Okay, we're close to 10 minutes. So, and then I'll have like about 14 minutes left for this whole video. But this video is just bad. This is a terrible video.
Or she just looks young.
Oh man,
it's still a child.
No, it's not.
I know that. The developers know that.
No, they aren't children. No, they're not. They're fictional characters. Even the developers know that. Which is why you don't ever see anyone about in the CN or JP player bases caring about this content like that, or making this bold claim that this content promotes pedophilia. You know the reason why they don't view it that way? It's because they know that this is a product meant to be sold. These are not real people. These are not real children. These are just fictional characters, pixels, and what have you, showing the diversity of body size between all the characters. Because guess what? Petite body size women exist in real life. And guess what? They enjoy the content. And because some of this content reflects their own real life stuff they got going on over there in them Asian countries. Because guess what? There are women, there are Asian women who are small in body size and stature. The amount of videos I've seen on YouTube of like Asian couples playing pranks on their freaking Asian parents, and you just look at the body size of the mother and you're like, man, she's quite small for her size. I expected her to be a little bigger. But then again, it disproves this claim that all women are these big chested, big booty, curvaceous females or entities, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, ladies, you get the point I'm making. But again, like I said, it completely destroys that idea that women are only meant to look one way when they clearly look multiple different ways. Break beauty standard.
You know that. You can try to excuse it all you want.
No one's excusing it. People are just stating the matter of fact, and the reason why people don't care about this topic and why it is that you haven't seen any grand thing change out of these games when it comes down to these lolly characters. People have been yapping about this lolly topic for years now. At this point, it's old. 5 years from now, someone's going to talk about it again. 20 years from now, someone's going to talk about it again. This conversation is never going to end. There's never going to be some grand change to it because guess what? The creators of the artwork know what the crap that their artwork is and what it represents. It is not representing, and not even just represents, but like it's not trying to promote something. But people such as you make such bold claims that it is. Which is why you don't ever see nothing change. They don't go back changing their character designs to look like XYZ. They don't go back changing the characters' ages because they don't care. Because it's not meant to be taken seriously. But you're taking it seriously because you want to use your childhood trauma as your justification for why you're taking this seriously. Which, cool for you, bro. But I'm not going to take you serious moving forward.
It is blatant pedophilia.
No, it's not.
You're right. They aren't real. But no matter how hard you try to justify it, at the end of the day, real or fake, Klee is a child.
No. Pedophilia does not extend to fictional content. No, it does not. Do not misuse this word because your feelings hurt and feel like you need to do some moral grand crusade. No. You do not know what this word means if you're lumping fictional content in with it. No, that's not how this works.
If you want to fuck her, you deserve to die. And that is not a joke.
If you're sitting here telling people to die, I want people to go report this channel for telling people to go die. And not joking about it either.
The second most common excuse is that these characters aren't kids. They are actually short adults.
Nigga, did you not just sit here and try to claim otherwise, that Jufufu was not an adult that was short? Did you not just try to make that claim? Because you did. And you sat here and said, no, she's actually 8. Get the fuck out of here, man. I swear. Niggas like this piss me off because they really sound fucking retarded. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, hold up. Put that volume back on. Oh my god.
Jufufu isn't a kid. She's actually a short adult. Now, in theory, that's a good excuse. Short adults exist in real life.
Then why did you sit here and proclaim that she was otherwise?
Met them, you've met them, we've all met a short adult. They exist. But this argument is incredibly easy to counter. In real life, short adults still look like adults. They don't look like toddlers.
Oh, and this goes right here, what he's saying, this plays right into this counterpoint that I'm going to slap his argument to the floor with. Anime characters do not represent real life people, nor do they look like them. You want to know why? What women you know have giant, big, open eyes? Hold up. Let me see if I got my picture. Let me see if I got a picture. Let me see. I'm going to use Seadra again for this example. Oh, not Seadra. Hold on. I got one. Here we go. This is Hina from, what you call it? This is Hina from Plunderer. Now, I will say this. The way they use the word lolly in Plunderer is completely wrong. Blatantly. Hina has big, wide eyes. Look at these. These are big, wide eyes. Tell me, what children you know in real life have big, wide eyes like this? Oh, that's right. They don't. Because no one realistically have large eyes like this. So no. Let's continue. What other pics we got? Big, wide eyes. Also, this nigga from Plunderer is so freaking gas. I fucking love this dude. The red coat, so tough. Anyway. Also, this anime is a fan service anime, so they have a lot of sexual jokes like this. It was great. Actually, I would advise everyone who hasn't watched Plunderer, go watch it. It's actually a really great show. Let's get back to the video.
Still look like adults. They don't look like toddlers. You shits.
Again, and I mentioned this again. This is the anime art style. That's all that is. He's sitting here trying to be like, oh, well, real adults actually still look like adults. Well, yeah, because real people look like real people. Fictional characters look like fictional characters. A lot of the female characters have large, wide eyes. Guess what? Real people don't have that. So, no shit, Sherlock. They look different. Duh. One is anime art style, the other one isn't. At this point, I just want these people to admit that they view Japan and any Asian country as being pedophilic at this point. Just be xenophobic and admit it, because that's what this is all just leads back up to. And I stand on that position that people who are sitting here proclaiming that these Asian countries who make this anime content are promoting pedophilia, just say you're xenophobic and you just have an issue with Asian people. Just say it. That's what that comes off to me. Because the only people making this content are the Asian audience, the Asian content creators, the Asian artists and writers. They're the ones making this content. So you might as well just say what you want to say. Just be xenophobic about it, okay? Anyway.
This argument is incredibly easy to counter. In real life, short adults still look like adults. They don't look like...
And also, the beauty standard that exists in Asian countries exists as well, where women want to look as youthful as possible and being as fair-skinned as possible. So it's somewhat emulated in their anime, somewhat, not all the way. But again, the whole having big wide eyes, that's just purely anime style. That's just anime art style. That's all that is.
Toddlers, you shit stain. Look at Miyabi. She is a great short adult character. She is 4'11", but
that's art style.
Just by looking at her, you can tell she is a young adult woman.
Actually, no, you can't. Because they could have easily said that Miyabi was 16. And I would believe it. Because guess what? Just because you can't, first of all, height is not an indication of someone's age. Miyabi having somewhat of a breast size on her, being short like this, she could have been any age. She could, well, not any, because anything underneath like the age of like, let's say 12 wouldn't make sense for Miyabi. Age range between like 13 to 17, more than likely they could have just given Miyabi that age. But we know that she's older than that. Again, age is arbitrary, especially when you're trying to apply that, oh, well, her height is this, therefore that's her age. Like, no, that does not work in real life.
11, but just by looking at her, you can tell she is a young adult woman. She wears heels and has big fox ears that make...
She wears heels and have big fox ears. Do you think girls who are of age range from like, let's say 15 to 17 don't wear heels either? Are heels an exclusive accessory to only adult women? Are we freaking for real? Nigga, what? Ladies, in my comment section, y'all give your opinion for this. Please do so. Because that sounds retarded that he just sat there and said this. Oh, because I wear J's on my feet, therefore I'm an adult. What?
Tell she is a young adult woman. She wears heels and has big fox ears that make her look a little taller than she actually is, but regardless, she is a great example of a short adult character. Now compare her to Jifufu and Sokaku.
Jifufu is an adult. They blatantly admit it in the damn game. Again, body size. Lolly. I'm not really sure what well, since her chest isn't flat, I can't really call her a lolly. But she is short in height, so I'm kind of like probably in between with Miyabi. Her, lolly. You got 3 lollies on screen except for this one. This is a coin flip of a 50, no, probably like 75% and 25% lolly.
And potentially Chinatsu. This is an adult. These are children.
No, they're not. These two are adults, bro. I swear, when you're so blinded by your moral righteousness that you think you're correct about, you're so blind that you will literally say that these two are children when the game actually says otherwise. So crazy. We don't even know how old this girl is. Homegirl could be freaking 16 for all we know, and just got a small body size. Oh, allow me to pull up a character right quick. Where is this? Here we go. If anyone's ever watched Ladies vs. Butlers, here's this character go right here. This character, her name, Minami Osawa. There we go. So this girl is 19 years old and appears to be 10 due to an illness, aka she probably has dwarfism. That's why she looks the way that she looks. There's another character that's also a lolly that's younger than this girl. This homegirl right here. She is a first year of this academy. She is a third year. Are we going to dismiss her actual age of being 19 years old because of the way that she looks? I hope you apply that to real life women, my guy, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a real life woman who might look at you sideways and think, excuse you? Shoot, I know there's a content creator. There's an Asian content creator. I can't remember her name. I don't know if it was Jaden Animations or there was someone else. I remember a couple years back, she went to this convention and she was talking about how she went to a restaurant with her friends one time, and the restaurant owner, or the waiter rather, looked at her and was asking her, hey, do you have your ID? Because he thought that she was underage. And she was like, yeah, I have my ID. I'm freaking 22 years old, bro. Here you go. And he was shocked when he saw that. So, youthful looking women that may appear childlike exist in real life. And they got to go through bullshit. Which, again, I feel bad for my ladies out there. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
No matter how much you want to bend over backwards, at the end of the day...
No one's bending over backwards. You're bending over backwards to push your moral agenda that has no place when it comes out to fictional content. That, again, is not promoting pedophilia in the slightest, but you're making that claim with no proof. Anyway, let's continue.
Or children. No matter how much you want to bend over backwards, at the end of the day, you are attracted to kids. Look at this picture. This short-haired woman is supposed to be a grown...
Oh my God. You really do not believe that short woman exists. She is a grown adult. And again, this is anime art style. They make their female characters look youthful. It's a common trope thing in anime. Are you upset because they don't make them look straight-faced, stiff-faced? Oh, you can tell age and time has withered this woman's facial features. Are we being upset over art style, bro? Come on, my guy. Good Lord. This is such a bad video.
To kids. Look at this picture. This short-haired woman...
And I've watched the first episode of this anime. This anime is really good. I actually need to binge watch and watch the rest of it. And watch the rest of it. But my tiny senpai, she is clearly the older one between the two. Do not... This goes back to that whole saying of don't judge a book by its cover. This is what this is. He's judging the book by its cover and thinking, oh, well, she's a child. Bro, she is an adult. Again, what child you know that looks like they're freaking 12 years old has a job? Last time I checked, children aren't allowed to have jobs at no age range of no 12 years old or no 13 years old. Last time I checked. So, what are we talking about here? I'm gonna say this right now in my midst of my reaction. Forgive me for making this reaction an hour long, but I am extremely passionate about this topic because when people misuse words such as pedophilia and exploit and victim, when they talk about lolly content, I know what type of timing they're on, and I know that they're blatantly wrong for their moral crusade that they think they're right about. I'm sorry, I needed to say what I need to say about this video.
Is supposed to be a grown adult that works in an office. But not only does she have the height of a child, she has the proportions of a child. Big head, big eyes, and limbs are disproportionate to the rest of her body.
No, that is just art style. And on top of that, no, this is pretty standard female body size. This is not the proportions of a child. Because guess what? Women, you even admit in your own video that short women exist. But I think short women existing in your eyes must mean they have a big chest. Because if we go back to that Miyabi point he mentioned earlier, right? The only reason he didn't deem Miyabi as a child by his logic is because she had a more pronounced breast size in comparison to Jafufu, Shukaku, and Homegirl from the Idols of Delusion. Right? Because they don't have pronounced chest sizes. Therefore, they're children to him. Ladies, please take that into consideration while listening to this man talk. He thinks if you don't have a big enough chest size, as big as Miyabi's, that's more defined, therefore you are a child. Keep that in mind. God forbid that there are women out here that have flat boards. God forbid. Oh, wait. God doesn't forbid it. He allowed it.
And limbs are disproportionate to the rest of her body. Yes, real people in the real world can naturally be short, but these real world people still have the proportions of an adult.
And guess what? Adult women, again, have this body size because they exist. You can't say in one breath that, oh, they exist, but then when it comes down to this anime stuff, you didn't act like, no, they don't exist. That's not how this works.
Unless we're talking about dwarfism or some other.
Women don't need to have dwarfism in order to have petite body size. There's this one chick I see come in and out the building when she's picking up orders out of my warehouse. Homegirl not taller than me, most definitely. Homegirl is as thin as a string bean. Hold up. String bean. She's as thin as possible. And she's not as tall as me. Guess what? She has a really youthful looking face. But guess what? She's over here driving a pickup truck to take items from my warehouse to wherever she needs to go. Am I supposed to assume that she's a child because of her body size? Bro, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh my god.
Other type of sickness. These characters can very easily be drawn.
Before, after. Both body sizes are valid. What are we talking about? Again, this is just you showing that you have an issue with the art style rather than the actual body. Because guess what? This is the anime art style. This is what they roll with. This is how they do their stuff. If you have an issue with that, cool. But don't sit here and try to act like you fixed this because you edited their stuff. Like, no. Both of these designs are valid. Both of these designs are petite body size women. There is no, oh, this is not, this is. No, they both are.
Drawn or modeled to be short with the proportions of an adult. A head that fits their body, smaller eyes.
I hate niggas who sit here and do this whole, oh, I fixed your art shit. I swear, I find that shit disgusting. I find that just as much as disgusting. Well, there's a degree lower than I find people disgusting when they misuse serious words such as pedophilia. But I also hate this thing where people sit here and try to fix people's art. No. And also, this is a fucking camera angle. She's up high. The camera is like slightly shifted down. And she's like looking downward as well. Actually, hold on. No, the camera is face forward. Her head is tilted down because she's looking down. That's the only reason her head shape looks this way. Like, oh my gosh. I hate the shit like this.
Eyes, sharp facial features, limbs and proportions that are accurate for a short adult.
Can people not design their female characters to look beautiful and youthful without having to do what you want them to do for their artwork? Sounds like you're trying to dictate what people can and cannot draw, which I don't roll with that. I don't respect that move at all. People can draw whatever the F they want to draw. I do agree with that. Hold up. Actually, let me draw this line in the sand so this isn't misunderstood. If someone is drawing CP, but they're masking it as, oh, this is fictional content, because I know there was a artist, I forgot what the name of that artist's name was. It was a whole drama back last year, I believe. The artist had made CP art of the YouTuber named Keemstar. He made sexual art of Keemstar's underage daughter at the time, right? What that dude made was genuine CP. These anime characters or whatnot, these are not CP. What that man drew was CP, and he was rightfully called out for it. He drew, what was it, sexualized art of like these young actors who were young at the time, but they're more than likely adults now, because it's been like years since they acted or their role in whatever TV show or movie that they worked in. But yeah, what he made was CP content. What he made is not lolly content. It is CP content. There's a big difference between the two. And what he made was blatantly illegal and immoral and unethical. Let me pause again. If you want to talk about someone who was victimized and exploited, yeah, those girls were. That YouTuber's daughter was exploited. That's real exploitation, not fictional characters that are drawn by people who said characters aren't even based on real people at all, and they're just fictional characters the author just thought of, oh, hold up, I just thought of a cool character design, let me draw that. No, that is not the same.
Adult, but the artists that make them don't do that. Why? Because the goal is for them to look like kids.
No, the goal is to have them look youthful. And you can make them look youthful in any way. Saying that there's only one way to make them look youthful or make them look older is stupid. Bisky from Hunter x Hunter. Bro, she looks youthful from all get out until she transforms and reveals her muscular form. Guess what? Bisky, hold on, let me see if I can pull up this image. HXH Bisky muscle. Here we go. Look at this. This is Bisky. The way she looks, let's see if I can get bigger. The way she looks, muscular toned. She looks like a man, blatantly. This sharp chin and whatnot. Let's go back to that point he made earlier. Hold up, let me go back to that image he showed. He thinks that there's only one way to show petite female characters or make them look a certain way. No, there's both. You can do both of these, right? But he's saying that this is only valid. If that was the case, then why the F does Bisky have two versions of herself? Petite and cute and muscular. Because they wanted both. And people love this character to high heaven. Man, how long have I been doing this reaction for?
Accurate for a short adult. But the artists that make them don't do that. Why? Because the goal is for them to look like kids.
The goal is to make them look youthful. Simple.
Not short adults. The actual age, them being elves or dragons, or the mythical office worker, them being robots or clones, or whatever nonsense, are simply an excuse to justify your attraction to them.
No, that's not it. You are off base 100%. Good Lord.
Nonsense are simply an excuse to justify your attraction to them.
I ain't gonna lie, when I hear niggas talk with such confidence as if they know the answer when they really don't, this content creator is prime example of that. You do not know what you're talking about.
But why? Why do so many gacha games sexualize children? Well, it's simple. A lot of gacha
They're sexualizing female characters, aka drawings. They are not real children.
developers are pedophiles. Water Kuma
Oh, I'm so glad that you even said it. You just admitted and stated that you believe that these Asian content creators are these Asian artists and game developers are pedophiles. I'm glad that you admitted that you're xenophobia. That these Asian individuals, these Asian people are pedophiles. I'm glad you admitted it. Thank you. That's what you should have started with this video off with immediately. Instead of trying to build up to this point, you should have just admitted it from Jump Street. You believe they're pedophiles, which you have no proof of because you're basing it off fictional content and not any real victims. You're not basing it off any illegal artwork that they may have or any interactions that they may have had with fans of their works that is illegal and problematic. But instead, we're basing it off fictional characters. Okay, twin.
Kuma being an example we already talked about. And a lot of players are willing to drop an absurd amount of money on these specific types of characters because they are also pedophiles.
They drop money on these characters because they like these characters' personality, they like their character design, and that's it. It's not because they like it because they're underage. Like, no. If you're using this argument of, oh, they must like this character because they're underage, shut the fuck up. That's not what people like these characters for. You think people pulled for well, you think people pulled for Nahida because she was underage? No, because realistically she wasn't underage. But you think people pulled for her because she was underage? No, because people loved Nahida. Nahida was someone that you was like, man, the world has done you dirty. These people have done you dirty. We gotta protect you, twin. So no. If you're making the argument that people want to pull for these characters because they're underage, like, no, shut up. That's not how that works.
Specific types of characters because they are also pedophiles. Anime and the East in general has a big problem with how they depict underage people, especially girls. Their obsession with the schoolgirl outfit is incredibly creepy. Anime in general is filled to the brim with underage schoolgirls in sexual situations.
You're gonna use underage? This girl's an adult, bro. Bro, if you were using High School DxD as your example, I would have Be like, okay, good example that you're using. Granted, I disagree. But you're using a character who's an adult. Fire Force is full with adult characters. And if you want to be like, oh, he's not an adult because he's 16, did you take in consideration that maybe the age of consent in Japan, what they deem as an adult, is probably 16 to 17 years old? So guess what? He's an adult regardless of how you feel about it. So, yeah. Again, this character is a freaking adult. This is not a child. What the fuck are you talking about? Using Fire Force of all things. Could you not have brought a better example, bro? Even I would have done my video better than this. This is terrible.
Is filled to the brim with underage.
Oh, also, I mentioned the whole school setting point. I mentioned that earlier, but I'll repeat it now since I'm really deep into this video. I think I'm doing a 2-hour long reaction. Please forgive me for that. But yeah, again, the only reason they have it in the high school setting is because guess what? These guys reminisce on their high school lives, which is why so many anime is high school focused. Because they're reminiscing about it. They're thinking, man, I remember this chick back in high school. She was gorgeous. This and the third. And guess what? It comes out on the page. Technically, if you think about it, if they're reminiscing back of their high school days, the thing is they're making their high school days more fantastical than what it actually was. Being like, oh, there were superpowers. Oh, we were fighting against this great evil. Oh, I was the chosen one. Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. Like High School DxD, prime example. High School DxD is actually really great. Go watch it. Anyway.
Rage schoolgirls in sexual situations, aka fan service. If not just.
And also, this content is made for that sexual content is made for young boys. It's not technically made for adults. It's made for naturally. It's made for teenage boys, horny teenage boys, and young adults such as myself. So, mind you, I just graduated high school like 5 years ago. So, it's like. It's meant for them / us. It's not meant for anyone younger, or it's not meant for solely an adult audience. Somewhere along the lines. Now, are there anime content that's meant for adults? Yeah, sure, absolutely. It's premiumly made for adults. Is there anime content that's meant only for children? Absolutely. That's why Pokemon exists.
In sexual situations, aka fan service, if not just being in pornographic material. There is an anime called Fire Force, and this character is an underage girl where her power is being unlucky. That doesn't sound.
Can you provide her age, please? Okay, you can't just say underage and don't put up a screenshot showing, okay, this is the age. This is what they said in the show that she's this age. Because, again, all these niggas are adults and they're firefighters, for crying out loud. These are not children. These are firefighters. They're fighting fires. They're risking their... What child you know has a job as a firefighter? The answer is you don't, because they don't exist. So, again, this girl is not a child. Anyway, whatever.
It's an underage girl where her power is being unlucky.
It's kind of crazy how dishonest most of this video is. That's the crazy part, as I continue watching this video.
That doesn't sound too bad, huh? A bit inconvenient, but nothing crazy. Well, specifically... that bad luck manifests by putting her in situations that will strip her of her clothing. Yep. Did you know that MiHoYo used to have a manga? Years ago, they would release online mangas for Honkai Gauken, or Gauken, I don't know how you pronounce it. And the villain for one of them was a high school girl that...
What's the problem of having the villain do villainous activity? I am confused. Are we morally grandstanding that now villains aren't allowed to do villainous stuff? Don't get me started on the Berserk manga, because apparently what happens in the Berserk manga is freaking diabolical. But again, is villains doing villainous stuff? Again, why do we care that the villain of the story is out here doing a villainous crime? Why? It's meant to show that she's a villain, that she's willing to do such things to these characters, to her opposition, rather. What?
And the villain for one of them was a high school girl that would rape other high schoolers. That was one of their villains.
What's the problem with that? Again, I'm trying to understand. We have villains that do genocide. We have villains that do mass murder. We have villains doing mass manipulation of someone's mind, stripping them of their agency and their privacy. We have villains doing so many things to the nth degree that apparently this one is problematic. Are we serious? To me, this whole video screams, I want to strip anime of its artistic freedom and the type of villains that they're willing to write. That's what that means. He wants watered down content. He wants the same BS standard content we get over here from the West. That's not bold enough to make such content. That's what this screams.
Jesus. Also, Honkai Gauken had a race of gods named after H.P. Lovecraft characters that looked like this. They were multidimensional beings.
Notice the focus on the feet. First of all, the feet are not in focus. This picture had the feet in focus. This one doesn't. The feet is all the way back here. If the feet was in focus, her feet would be in the front or all up on the screen right here. No, it's not in focus. You're pointing it out in focus. This one is in focus. Because guess what? Her feet is first. Her face is all in the back. And again, this goes back. Hold up. Pause. Hopefully it doesn't play. This goes back to artistic freedom. Guess what? You better believe if they were to make a show, if Japan were to make an anime, someone in Japan were to make a manga, an anime about Lucifer and the 7 deadly sins, you better bet your bottom dollar that Lucifer would be depicted, that Satan would be depicted as this lolly demon. You better believe it. Because guess what? These Asian countries, they love their short petite women. They love them. And they love it being reflected somewhat in their manga and anime, which is why they draw this content. This isn't because they're drawing it for pedophilia reasons. They draw it because it emulates their women in real life. Go check out my... Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know. This may be a 2-hour long reaction. Please forgive me, my viewers. But I just have a lot to say in this video. I gotta hurry up and finish this video. I gotta stop responding to everything this person says because this shit is so stupid. Anyway, hold up, give me a second. All right. Also, let's take this in consideration. Too. Let me search this scared person up. Saba. Here we go. This is Saba, formerly known as Gargura. She is one of, if not the most popular VTuber in the entire world. People love Gargura. And Gargura openly states that she is a lolly lover. She loves lollies. She's a lollygon. She loves it. Which is why she models her VTuber after it. Oh, and yes, I am subbed. Let me turn on that notification bell so I can show some support and some respect to Homegirl after all this BS, people trying to cancel her over this lolly stuff. And it's like, bro, you're scared of a 4-letter word, which she has a YouTube short about. There's so many VTubers who have this whole lolly thing attached to their models. Are you going to imply that they're pedophiles or they're pedo-baiting people with this content when no, they are not? Can women not reflect what they look like onto their VTubers? Apparently not, by your logic. Oh, it's just like, damn, bro. Like, good lord. Oh, hold up. Let me go back to that. Actually, hold up. Now, let me go pull up my video. Because this is going to be a lengthy reaction. I'm sorry, y'all. This is a lengthy one. I think this will be a 2-hour long reaction, if not pushing 3. I have a lot.
What's up? I'm KallaTheYapper, and
shut up. Let's go to my videos. See if I can scroll down. Can I scroll down? Here we go. Let's go to my videos. Let me scroll all the way down. I made a video a year ago talking about this whole lolly topic related to Zenless. I made 2 videos about it, actually. One was talking about lollies and whether or not they're problematic or acceptable, and whether or not anime promotes pedophilia. Go check this video out. But let me click on this one so I can give you a clip that I got from Professor Darkness where they talk about how Japan or Asian countries view their ladies when it comes to the lolly stuff. Okay, so let's see. I'll just give it a second to load. Let's jump back this far.
Depending on what you like. But over there, cute is like everything for them. Cute is everything. If you're cute, that is sexy in a lot of Eastern Asians' eyes, especially for a girl.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything. And for them to think that one, the anime community in general is not going to play because there's lollies, I doubt that. If you're in the anime community for this long, sexy and kind of act sexy depending on what you like. But over there, cute is like everything for them. Cute is everything. If you're cute, that is sexy in a lot of Eastern Asians' eyes, especially for a girl.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything. And for them to think that one, the anime community in general is not going to play because there's lollies, I doubt that. If you're in the anime community for this long,
Oh my lord, can you please play the fucking video? I ain't got time for this. Probably because I got all these damn tabs open. Sorry for the slowness. It just, I gotta hurry up and try to do this shit.
get it, not liking lollies. I'm not the biggest fan of lollies either, but I understand that it's just a Japan thing. I mean, Tatsumaki's a lolly.
Oh yeah, people love Tatsumaki.
And bro, and listen, whenever Murata draws Tatsumaki, she's literally just a short stack thick girl.
Pretty much.
She's thick as hell. She's got like nice legs. Tatsumaki's hot, I'll say it. She's 28, but yeah, she is the lolly archetype. She's very short. Tatsumaki's like 5 foot, easily. But she's hot as hell. Like I understand that she's like a really short, I mean, essentially Asian girl. It is what it is, man.
It really is. It is what it is. Like these content creators, they just, bro, some fucking bullshit right there. Oh, I'm quitting Zenless on Zero because all these nah, nigga, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I was frying somebody on
Shut the fuck up.
About Tower of Fantasy because they were upset that it was going to like fan servicey. And I was telling him, like, and this is kind of off topic, but I was telling him, like, dude, the reason they always do this is because they're trying to make money. Like, a lot of the people that get mad at their game turning fan service is because the game wasn't good in the first place. So in order to improve it, they turn fan service and use that money to improve the game. Like, it's just, a lot of people have to recognize this shit. They pay the bills, BA exists for a reason, Global is just riding the train owner. And the conductor is Asian. Exactly. The sassy lost child, Tornado, she looks very... Yeah, Gully. Yeah, Tatsumaki Tornado looks like an adult. 100%.
Yeah, but but some people portray her as like a kid.
Right. Even though they draw... Like, she gets drawn in, like, the chibi form to make, like, a joke in One Punch Man. But she's 100% an adult. She looks like an adult. She's just a short girl.
She's just short. That's really it.
And in the manga, she's drawn like really thick, like really thick. She looks super hot.
There's more. Also, bro, my subscriber count blew the F up over the course of 2 years. 51 subs formerly. Now I'm saying I had 346. Who knows? My 346 may cut down. Depending on who unsubscribes. I mean, let me see if there's more to listen to.
Well, fuck, bro.
Right, she doesn't look big at
No.
all.
Just
She's
like
this
it,
redhead
or
girl with
you,
big
you know,
tits.
leave a ton of dislikes. It's never gonna be as bad as enough. You never make you aware of this.
In that all the lolicons go for actual kids, which literal kids, which do not. Stupid ass shit like that on the internet, which you know is wrong. Like for saying lollies are literal kids, which do not. Saying that all the lolicons go for actual kids, which they not. When you make stupid ass claims about a crime that people do, well, not people do at all. When you make like claims on a crime that people don't do and are just trying to have fun, crazy. We get this all about the Blue Archive. Blue Archive gets it every time. They get it all the fucking time. And guess what? They flip that card right back on the person who accuses them, and it turns out they're a fucking bad person. Literally, like, you see why Blue Archive's community is so tight? Because they know. They fucking know. Nobody's gonna get into them. Also, this is kind of crazy saying that this shit is bad, but if I remember, if history like corrected itself, if we go to VTubers, right, the most popular EN VTuber of all time, and at a point, yeah, there you go. Guess what? She's a lolicon, lolly model.
Yeah, but here's what people have to also understand about lolicons. They can easily play on the cute shit too.
Yes.
Like, that's what people don't understand. It's not necessarily about sexualizing them. A lot of people in general, especially in Asia, like the cuteness of lolicon girls.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
that's why
y'all gotta
is
like, and then another one, and here's another one. Out of it's a VTuber song. So you're telling me out of
I know what you're talking about. 100 million.
Yup.
I know.
Let's see, where is
Gargora did a rendition.
where's this video sitting at? 103 billion fucking views, and it hasn't.
I guarantee you, Japanese or not Japanese, Eastern Asian TikTok.
And it and it hasn't been a goddamn year, and it already is at 103 billion fucking views, bro.
Legally, Nahida is okay, but official is not. No matter the Twitter created height of consent. In fiction, everything is allowed.
Pretty much.
It's
Yep, pretty much.
Like, I can get not liking, like, lollies, but it's like there's.
You really can't.
Why complain about
Yeah,
it?
I would say.
Creator and what they are doing, because it is kind of insane how they are still around on YouTube and just how they haven't been cancelled.
No, let me keep going.
Face of the earth, especially after, you know, a big creator like Techbone, they've got 109,000 views, covered it, and they're still around.
I have some... I don't...
Okay. That's enough of that. Let's get back to the main video.
Beings beyond human comprehension and were absurdly powerful. In fact, they are the most powerful beings within the MiHoYo multiverse. Why do they look like kids?
It's crazy. He keeps pointing out the feet, but he's the only one looking at it. You must have a feet fetish, my guy. And again, artistic freedom. They can design these eldritch beings however the fuck they want to. They do not need to follow the conventional way of logic of, oh, well, let's make it look like an eldritch beast. No, they can make it look like a cute anime girl. Because that's what Japan loves. That's what Asian countries love. They love their cute anime girls, which is why they look the way they look, which is why they're drawn the way they're drawn. Because, again, just as the clip I just showed you said, these Asian creators, these Asian individuals who make this content, they view cute as sexy.
Take a wild guess. And in the real world, there is a massive problem with sexual harassment, specifically towards underage girls. And famously, the age of consent in Japan was 13 for a long time. However, it was raised in Japan was 13 for...
My bad. My video acting up and it's pissing me off. Hold up. Him mentioning that underage girls get sexually harassed in real life has nothing to do with lolly content in the slightest. He didn't even bother making a direct connection of how it connects to each other. He just stated it as if it connected. It does not connect to this lolly stuff at all, in the slightest. He didn't even provide any proof to show that it connected to this topic. I understand that they go through that. Shoot. Any of my female friends on Discord can sit there and tell me when I get this video out if they've experienced it or not. But like, this has nothing to do with the lolly conversation at all. At all. Because those men that sexually harassing these girls, they're not there because, oh, they saw lolly content and now they're coming after them. No. They're there because they've always they be waiting for these girls to turn 18, or they be sliding in DM. For example, look at this nigga freaking EDP 495, whatever crap his name was. Guess what? That nigga himself sat here and was like, oh, he was saying over condemning lolicons, while he's out here being a genuine pedophile. Niggas who are lolicons was looking at him like, bro, you can't tell us nothing when you're out here committing an illegal act, talking to children sexually. Shut up. What about that streamer that was canceled because he had done something similar. Dr. Disrespect, guess what? Another person. No lolly content is even tied to them. Yet, they were all out there as pedophiles. That nigga, Andrew Tate, he did similar things. He had a girlfriend or whatever that he was in a relationship with, and the girl was like 16 while he was an adult. I saw that video clip. Prime example, another person who was blatantly a pedophile. But I would retract that statement if the country that girl was from said the age of consent is 16 or whatever. Because, okay, cool, that's y'all. I ain't about to even bat about that, because that's how your laws work. But if that wasn't the case and he was in a relationship with that girl, while she was underage, yeah, he was being a blatant pedophile. Right? All these examples of real life people being pedophiles, none of them have any lolly content tied to them in the slightest.
With sexual harassment, specifically towards underage girls. And famously, the age of consent in Japan was 13 for a long time. However, it was raised to 16 back in June of 2023. Many Eastern regions also have low ages of consent and similarly have very warped views of kids. So yes, I fully believe that many gacha developers are attracted to these characters, and that's why they exist.
So you believe that the entire these Western countries are attracted to children? Okay, a bold claim to make. I disagree with that. That's just me personally. Even with the age of consent raised to 16, you will still sit here and say that they're a pedophile. So it don't even matter if the age was dropped or not. Now, it was interesting when I did find out about that. The age of consent was 13. 13, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's crazy. And then they bumped it up to 16, which is like, I'm not going to bat an eye about that because 16, 17, 18 is about what? 16, 17. That's like 2 years away from 18. It ain't that big of a deal, me personally. Anyway, it's like, again, he's not making, I'm not getting a direct correlation between lolly characters and that, the age of consent thing. Don't even know why the age of consent thing was mentioned, other than to make the claim or try to draw a line that is non-existent toward the fact that they create these characters because they're sexually attracted to children, which is such a bullshit point when no, they're not. With the examples I provided earlier throughout this reaction. I gotta get through this video.
Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, when I was young, and I used to see anime with heavy fan service, like Fairy Tail, or High School of the Dead, or High School DxD, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But as I have grown older, as I have become an adult, I realized just how creepy it is that all of these grown adults, whether they be in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their whatever, are continuously making media where they heavily sexualize underage children.
Again, this tells me he does not understand what shonen is. He doesn't understand harem. He doesn't understand ecchi. He doesn't understand this demographic that exists for this content, because that content makes money on. Japan already went through their process of how they're going to go about making said content, and they came to a conclusion, right? Which is why anime has this. Again, these high school moments, again, it's just them reminiscing on their past, and two, they're pushing it, because most of this content is shonen content, let's be freaking for real. Well, and they push it towards the young boys. Not young boys in like 10 years old, but like these teenage boys who are going through puberty, and that's what this content is mainly made for them, which is why shonen is dedicated for the boys, whereas I forgot what the other one, shoujo, there we go, is made for the girls. And they do similar content as well. It just is not talked about as much because shoujo is not mainstream as shonen is.
Media where they heavily sexualize underage children. It's one thing for a
fictional characters, not children, because you don't know the difference between fictional characters and children.
Teenager to sexualize another teenager. They are the same age. Of course, they're gonna be.
Bro, like, hearing him yap about this, he's talking as if these pixels are real people. And that's what's irritating me. He does not know the difference between fictional and real people. And he's sitting here conflating, talking about, oh, they're pedophiles for this, while simultaneously you're misusing words. to push your agenda in this video, which is blatantly disgusting in my opinion, where you're misusing a word that represents a serious crime and a serious action. Because again, this quote unquote CP content cannot be made ethically because there's victims in that. Fictional content can be made ethically because there is no victims. There is no exploitation of no one. Because early in the video, you sat here and proclaimed that these fictional characters are being exploited by the fan base that likes these characters and by the artists themselves. But that doesn't even apply to them because they don't exist. They're not real people. Therefore, you can't exploit something that is not real.
Going to be attracted to each other. But when an adult, a full-grown adult, is the one doing all of this sexualization, that's bizarre. That is creepy. It is weird. Azure Premilia is an upcoming gacha game being made by the same developers of Azure Lane, a fan service heavy game. And it's a waifu only game, so I fully expect Azure Premilia to also have a lot of fan service. And that, in and of itself, would be fine if the characters were adults. However, something I noticed when watching the trailers and gameplay footage is how young all the characters looked, regardless of how old they actually are.
Because this goes back to Japan's desire, or Asian people loving cute and viewing cute as sexy, as I showed with the clip. That's what this is. The fact that you don't know this tells me you don't know none of this stuff. You don't actually engage in the content. You look at it and then deem it as problematic. You don't actually do your research into why it is that they do this. Why it is that do this. Why they do that. Why they design characters like this. You don't know. And this blatantly showing with this video. Oh my Lord in heaven.
And you can say, oh, well, that's just the art style.
That is the art style.
You're correct. That is the art style. But here's my question. Why would you make such a fan service heavy game and make an art style where everybody looks underaged? Do you not realize how creepy that is?
That's not creepy, bro. Again, sitting here pushing this moral grandstanding over fictional content is by far the most retarded shit I've seen people do ever in my life. We're over here pearl clutching about fictional characters and the art design for them, which depicts them, versus actually caring about real children being sex trafficked or being sexually abused. We're putting forth all this energy into this rather than going to actually help real children. Keep that in mind, people, as you watch this reaction.
You could have made the art style anything you wanted, and you chose one where everybody looks young.
Because they wanted to go for cute. They didn't want to go for ultra serious, aka it's called marketing. Duh. What are we talking about, bro? That's like being upset that Dead Space is marketed as gritty, as serious, as dark because of his art style. All this blood, guts, and gore everywhere. Like, what are we talking about?
He looks like they're in high school. That is creepy. Also, there's an entire race of characters that...
Yeah, these are what we call chibi. That's a thing. Let's go ahead and search that up. Because apparently homeboy don't know definitions and he don't know character types. Chibi. Granted, I don't truly trust Google definitions. Chibi is a Japanese term for a style of drawing characters with exaggeratedly large heads, big eyes, and small bodies to make them look cute and childlike. The word itself can also mean a small child, person, or animal similar to shorty or runt, and its usage can range from affectionate to potentially insulting depending on the context. AKA when you have characters joke about that character's appearance and they get upset about it. Even the original meaning has an expansion on the definition of small or teeny and can refer to a small child, a person with dwarfism, or a small animal. AKA is broad. It's a broad definition. It does not mean child. Simple Google searches, man. Simple Google searches.
That look like this. Do I even need to say anything else? We all know where this is going. The sad thing about Azure Premilia is that it actually sounds pretty interesting. It's an open world game with...
So you're not going to play... So what I'm about to hear is he's not going to play the game because people are going to sexualize the character rather than the character actually being sexualized. If you want to run on that logic for why you won't play or engage in in content that's being made for the sake of entertainment, cool, bro. But I find that retarded.
Farming elements, and you can also battle and capture monsters to help you out in battle or help grow your farm. And again, I don't have any issues with the fan service. And ever since Destiny,
You do have an issue with the fan service when you're sitting here being like, oh, moral grandstanding about these youthful looking characters having fan service tied to them, proclaiming the idea that it's promoting pedophilia with no actual proof of pedophilia being promoted in these games. You're basically because the character looks this way, therefore they're promoting pedophilia. Like, what? If that's the case, if someone is sitting here drawing freaking, what'd you call it? Give me a second. Excuse me. What's the word I want to look for? What's that show called? Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls has 2 iterations of it. You have the original one, and then you have the anime style one. Let me actually pull that one up too while I'm here. Power Puff Girls Z, Japanese animated series. Look at this. You see the art style? You see it? Big eyes. They look cute. Cute girls doing cute things. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of their design. That's what it screams. And if someone sexualizes these characters, it does not matter because these are fictional characters. They are not being exploited because they are not real people. You can only exploit real people. You cannot exploit fictional content. Goodness gracious.
Destiny Child got shut down a couple years ago. I've been looking for a fan service heavy game to replace it. But the fact that everybody looks so young,
it makes me hesitate to want to play the game because you view these fictional characters as real people, which is a delusion. That's why you're hesitating to play the game, because you are delusional. As you stated earlier, when you sat here and tried to make the claim that these fictional characters are real people that we need to care about. No, the fuck we don't. The fuck? Anyway. I'm over here cursing like a sailor.
Although I've mainly talked about girls in this video, boys suffer from a similar situation, but to a much lesser degree. Shota is the Japanese word for little boys, and a Shotokan is someone who is attracted to them. Because many modern developers decided to focus on waifu-only gachas, the Shota problem isn't as prominent nowadays.
It's not even a problem to begin with. Because again, we're talking about fictional characters, not real people.
Does still exist in other media.
And Shota refers to body size as well. I'm trying to think of what was a short male character that I've seen in fiction. That nigga Krillin from Dragon Ball counts as a Shota. Hold up. Let's go ahead and pull up Krillin. Give me a second. Let me pull this up right now. Krillin. Here we go. Krillin. All definition, this nigga is a Shota. This nigga is short. Yes, he has muscle definition. That's cool and all, but he is a Shota by definition. Nigga is a shorty. Short little man. Let's go with who I want to search up next. I guess Gohan. Shota, Teen Gohan as well. Hold on, I gotta pull up Teen Gohan because Teen Gohan was also a Shota as well, and his body is a little bigger than when he was younger. Let's go ahead. Let me give me an image, nigga. I want an image. Here we go. Teen Gohan. By all definitions, he will be counted as a Shota character. Just because he ain't got this ultra small body size does not mean he's Shota. He still counts. Because it means young boy. And he is most definitely a young boy. Of course, at this point in time in the story. Duh. And then you have Goten, who's a little younger than him. See that? Okay, let's continue.
Media. Have you ever heard of Boku no Pico? Many anime fans from the 2000s would know that a popular joke was to recommend people the show, saying it was a really
Boku no Pico is a hentai. It is not an anime. It is a hentai. That's how you know the difference between anime and hentai. If he's about to sit here and be like, oh, this hentai was promoting pedophilia, I am going to throw something at the wall. Because this hentai is animated porn. That's what it is. It's fictional content out the wazoo. These niggas have the craziest concepts in these hentais. And I'm a gooner for crying out loud. Yes, I've seen this content. Right? I've seen it already. And before someone goes, oh, so you must be attracted. No, I'm not, actually. So go ahead, slap that argument to the floor, dumbass. But again, that's hentai. That's not anime. That's hentai. Why are we talking about hentai in a video that's not talking about hentai? If this video was about hentai, I'd understand. But again, hentai is made purely for adults. It's adult content. It's even rated as adult content.
Anime fans from the 2000s would know that a popular joke was to recommend people the show, saying it was a really good anime to watch. However, most people, including those who said the joke, don't actually know what Boku no Pico is because most people didn't watch it. It's hentai. An adult man abuses elementary-aged kids in it. However, it's not some tragic story of abuse. It's something that the viewer is supposed to find arousing.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now because he clearly doesn't understand the point of hentai and its entire medium. It is purely sexual content. That's it. Regardless of how you feel about what type of content is not even promoted, but is made via hentai, regardless of how you feel about it, its sole purpose is just to be cartoon porn. Its stories that they have in it is not meant to be taken seriously because the story is not even taking it seriously. Duh. That's why it's not going, because he mentioned earlier about how these topics need to be taken seriously. Hentai does not take any topic seriously. They'll depict it like it was serious, but they're not taking it seriously because niggas didn't come here for the plot. Niggas go watch hentai for the porn. And guess what? Hentai is porn. That's why those stories don't take it seriously. If it was an anime such as Togepi's Original Sin, then it would be taken seriously to the nth degree because this is a topic that they wish to talk about in their story. But again, hentai should not be treated on the same level as an anime such as Togepi's Original Sin because one is purely made for porn. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not even promoting anything illegal in their artwork in the first place, too, before someone made that claim. And anime, they legitimately be trying to play some philosophical brain game with it, which is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, they shouldn't even be viewed in the same light. I don't know how niggas are viewing these two things in the same light.
And enjoy. Shota suffer from all of the same problems that Lolis suffer from. So instead of repeating myself, let's continue the discussion. Have you ever noticed that a lot of gacha games have loli characters, but they don't have Shota characters? For example, Genshin Impact has 3 female body types, adult, teenager, and child. However, they only have 2 male body types.
And you shouldn't even take the body type seriously in what is... You shouldn't even take the body size even literal anyway, because anyone could look at all 3 of these kids and think that they're all children. Homegirl, Hutao is a mad shorty. I love Hutao and the spats she wears. Her freaking spats are freaking sexy as fuck. Anyway, enough of that. But bro, if I were to show this picture of Hutao to anyone, they would think that Hutao is probably looking like 15 years old because of the way she looks. But she's not. She's an adult who runs a fucking funeral parlor. Homegirl right here. Someone would look at this character and think, oh, well, this character is clearly a child. Wrong. This girl is a bartender. So all these characters, these 2 characters in particular, break this whole mold of what you think or assume is a child. Blatantly. Homegirl right here. Guess what? If he had actually used a fan art picture instead of the actual picture or whatever, it'll be a better view. But even her, you could have made the claim that homegirl was freaking 16 years old because of the way she looks, despite the fact she's an adult, right? So again, this is just assuming all these characters' ages because they all look youthful, because it's designed like that on purpose, not to promote pedophilia, but because they love their cute and youthful and beautiful looking female characters, which is why they designed them in the first place. Nothing more, nothing less. This is a lengthy video.
However, they only have 2 male body types, adult and teenager. They don't have a boy body.
No, Bennett is most definitely a Shota because he fits that mold. Again, this is where you sit here and like you're locked into thinking, oh, this is what it means, when no, this nigga is a Shota character. He is. Every character, male character of this body size of Bennett is a Shota. These niggas, these are tall niggas, slender niggas. They're not Shotas. He is a Shota. Hold on, let me see if I can search up some characters right quick. Let's see. Who should I use? Genshin. Dahlia. Shota. He is a Shota character. These is how they design their Shota male characters. This nigga fits under the definition of Shota because he's youthful in design. He doesn't have a muscular body build. He's quite small. All that shit. Hold on, let's see. What's another character I can search up? Who's another character? Tainari. Am I spelling his name right? I missed the H. Tainari. Another Shota boy. Small body build, no real muscular definition. He is a certain height of like 5 feet at best. 5'3" at bare minimum, I would give him. Look how youthful his face looks. Very youthful. These are anime tropes that have been here since A1, day one. And we're sitting here proclaiming like there's some moral grand issue with these characters existing.
Body type, like a little kid. Have you ever wondered why that is? Well,
and also, yeah, they don't make any male characters as small as, let's say, Klee. But even then, with the lolly characters of Genshin, they started changing the body model to be a little taller than how they used to have it. Case in point. Give me a second. Let me. Where's she at? Where's my girl? Here we go. Ian-san. I love Ian-san. Ian-san, my favorite character. I really wish they gave her more story time in the game. But Ian-san, homegirl is a shorty. Her body size model is completely different from Klee and Nahida, right? Because they started, playing with body sizes when Natlan came out, right? They started getting a little different with it, right? Because realistically, hold on, let me go back to the video. Let's go back. Here we hold on. Where's it?
Body types: adult, teenager, and child.
Okay, this is how they usually did their female characters, right? They'd have this body size, big head, blah 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 blah, right? It's not until Natlan did they started changing that up a bit. Where, oh, hold up, not you. That's my Wuthering Waves example. But yeah, when they started changing it up a little, making them a little taller, making them a little more thinner. Right, because they had the chibi look originally. Klee got the whole chibi look going on. When you pull up Klee got a chibi look. Ian-san doesn't have that much of a chibi look because her eyes isn't as big as Klee's. They're actually a little bit smaller. Head size a little bit smaller as well to fit her body proportions. Excuse me.
However, they only have 2 male body types, adult and teenager. They don't have a boy body type, like a little kid. Have you ever wondered why that?
Because there isn't a concept for chibi when it comes down to male characters, honestly. Actually, the closest thing I can think of that exists like that in Genshin Impact are the NPC models for the short boys that exist in the game. That's the closest thing we have in Genshin Impact. But other than that, Bennett would still be counted as a Shota because of his youthful appearance, his youthful boyish appearance, and the same thing goes for the other male characters that have the same height as him and the same look as him. It just they don't use the chibi thing for the chibi look for male characters as in comparison to female characters, because again, these Asian countries, they love their cute look. They love the cute look.
Why that is? Well, I think it's pretty clear. Lolis. Remember, MiHoYo used to be a very loud and proud lolicon company. And a lot of gacha games are like this. Wuthering Waves also suffers from a similar problem. They have multiple little girl characters, Encore, Verena, the blue one, but they don't really have any little boy characters. The closest would be the tiger.
Again. Wait, so you're counting him as a little boy character, but you're not going to count Bennett in the same vein when him and Bennett have the same body size? They're both Shota male characters, bro. What are we talking about? And the reason they don't make female characters of the same body sizes, especially these really, really small body sizes, the reason they don't do it because technically they don't sell as much and they don't really push that whole cute female character thing. Like Paimon. Paimon, she's as short as I'll get out. I think she's probably the shortest character in the whole game of Genshin Impact. Right? Paimon is adorable. She's cute. If people make sexualized art of that character, let's be for real, don't nobody give a F. Because no one's abusing Paimon because Paimon does not exist. She's not real.
I think it's pretty clear. Lolis. Remember, MiHoYo used to be a very loud and proud lolicon company.
Used to be. I don't think that's a used to be when Star Rail pumps out lolly characters back and front. Is it in abundance? No. But there's a handful of them in that game since A1, Day 1, aka Silverwolf.
And a lot of gacha games are like this. Wuthering Waves also suffers from a similar problem.
It's not even a suffer. It's just because they chose not to.
They have multiple little girl characters, Encore, Verena, the blue one, but they don't really have any little boy characters. The closest would be the tiger, but he's a teenager. He's not a little kid. And
why? Yes, he is. What are you talking about? Do we? When did we start viewing teenagers as more than little kids? The teenagers are little kids. In the most purest definition, they are little kids. What are we talking about? He is a kid. Well, I don't know his actual age, but he has a very youthful and childish look, childish appearance, childlike appearance, rather.
Many gacha games are like this. They have multiple little girl characters, but they almost never have little boy characters. It goes to show just how widespread the lolly problem is.
It's not even
and
a
to be
problem.
clear, I'm not saying I want more little boy characters. I don't want kids to be sexualized, and that's what would happen if there were more
Again, conflating real children with these fictional pieces of art that's not even based on real children. Oh my lord.
My favorite defense people use is that if you don't like these characters, you are a fake fan or a tourist.
You most definitely are a tourist. Now, I'm not saying you're a fake fan, but you are definitely a tourist when you're sitting here proclaiming that this is a problem, when this conversation has been had for years at this point. No one cares anymore. The reason people push back is when you're sitting here trying to morally grandstand, telling someone, oh, it's a problem. And if you like it, it's a problem. Guess what? The people who are the fans of this content are going to look at you sideways and be like, yeah, this is a tourist coming into this space trying to dictate and change and tell us what is morally correct about fictional characters. Not real people, fictional characters. Of course, you're going to get pushed back. Duh. What are we talking about?
Personally, I have been watching anime since I was 5 years old, and I've been playing gacha games since 2012.
I mean, that's cool and all. Nice credentials, bro. But people are still going to view you as a tourist when you're sitting here complaining about something that's not an issue.
Or technically 2011, depending on what exactly you consider a gacha game to be. I'm not going to explain that. I guarantee you, I am a bigger fan of gachas and anime in general than 90% of the people.
Well, you can be if you're sitting here proclaiming that there's some morally wrong with having this content in these fictional content. Again, in this space, and when you're treating fictional content like real people, like you admitted earlier, where you're obfuscating information or ignoring blatant information that contradicts your point, as stated with the Jufufu point from earlier, is like, I can't take anything you say is serious. Just because you played this game for years on end does not truly mean that you're a fan of the content. That, like, let's be for real. That doesn't mean, especially when you're morally grandstanding about fictional content of all things. If you're grandstanding about something more serious, I would be like, okay, cool. But like, you're grandstanding about fictional content. Talking about wasting time.
People who say shit like this. This argument never made any sense to me, because what about gachas, glorified gambling simulators, or anime in general, makes it so that you have to be okay with the sexualization?
You ain't gotta be okay with everything, but when you're sitting here trying to morally grandstand again about this content and saying, trying to say that it's problematic and is morally unacceptable, that's when people are gonna look at you sideways and be like, bro, there's a whole bunch of content that exists that is fictional content that is morally unacceptable, but people let slide. AKA when you're playing GTA and you're mass murdering people on the street just for the fun of it. Guess what? People don't bat an eye about that. The logic you're using when you come into this space being like, oh, this is problematic, this is that same soccer mom mentality when people are like, oh, well, if you consume this violent video game content, therefore you're going to go out into the real world and actually do these crimes, when that's not how this works at all. Even when people proclaim that, there was nothing proving that that was the case. And guess what? The same thing applies to every other piece of fictional content that exists.
Of children, or at worst, like it in order to be a real fan. What's crazy to me is that instead of lusting after Evelyn, Zoya, Ubaba, Morgan Le Fay, Shadow the Hedgehog, Goku, these adult characters, instead people choose the kindergartner.
No. Oh my god. Let's get this straight. Hold up. First, the first point I need to make. So it's problematic for people to have different tastes. That is not the standard. Oh, look at this big booty chick, this big chested chick. Can niggas not like slender builds or petite builds? Oh, so we're only supposed to like one thing. Okay. Case in point, KallaTheYapper. She is flat as a board. Extremely youthful looking. Very youthful. Am I not supposed to like her because she looks like a child? Is that the case? So many people pull for this character. And yeah, you can say, oh, people pull for her because of her alternate form. Yeah, that is true. But guess what? A lot of people, there's other portion of people that pull for her because they like her petite form. Because it's cute, it's lovely, it's beautiful, it's elegant. You get the point. To sit here and throw the most egregious example on the screen to be like, oh, people choose this one over Evelyn, and it's like most lolly characters do not even look like that. With the examples I've shown in my own video, Ian-san doesn't even look directly like her. What's another one? Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Again, it doesn't look anything like that character. Free Run. No similarities. Siedra from Honkai Star Rail. No direct similarities. Let's continue, actually. Silverwolf, again, another character that does not look anything like that. But of course, we're saying that's problematic for someone to like a female character that looks like this, that looks petite. God forbid not everyone have the same exact taste as another person that doesn't find big ass and big titties as sexy to them. Instead prefers petite, slender builds. God forbid.
Morgan Le Fay, Shadow the Hedgehog, Goku, these adult characters. Instead, people choose the kindergartner. Or the 15-year-old with triple G's. Like, Jesus, man.
And people goon over male characters from My Hero Academia, and there was a content creator a while back. Let me search up Bakugo. Let me put Bakugo on screen. MHA Bakugo. Hopefully nothing crazy pops up on my screen. Okay, peep game. This nigga has a very muscular build. This nigga's like what, 15 years old. Not at the end of the series, but as we are currently in the series. This nigga's like 15 years old. There has been so many people who have, especially the gay shippers, they have shipped this nigga with Deku for years. And these were the same people who got on the asses of other people for this sexualization of the female characters of My Hero Academia, at least of Class 1A. They were like, oh, such a problem, but they're out here sexualizing, making sexy art, and of course shipping two 15-year-old boys together and making dirty art about it, but want to morally grandstand about it. There was a content creator, I can't remember what her name was, but she also tried to play this whole argument of, oh, there's something problematic with lolly characters, and then it was outed that she was making sexualized art of these characters. They may not look like lolly characters, they may not look small and petite and look like children because of their body sizes, because of their muscular features, but she still made art of these characters looking this way and shipping two underage characters together, and people called her out rightfully on it. And guess what happened to her? She over here hiding off the internet, didn't come back. And mind you, this was like back in 2021 or 2022 when this happened. Again, people can like or goon over whatever female character that they wish to goon over. It does not freaking matter, because again, this is fictional content. This is not real people. These don't represent real people in the slightest.
Something else I want. Or the 15-year-old with triple G's.
Oh man, I've been on this video for far too long.
Something else I want to make clear is that I'm not saying it's bad to be attracted to or to sexualize or to make Rule 34 of gacha characters.
Yes, you are. This whole entire video was that. Why are you lying at the end of it? Telling us, oh, I'm not having a problem that you're sexualizing gacha characters, but you're about to say in the next line, oh, but I have a problem with you sexualizing certain ones that look a certain type of way because I think they're a child, and I'm going to lie about what is stated in game to sit here and say that they are a child. Back to the Jufufu point yet again. What are we talking about? Oh my gosh.
As long as they are adults.
No, I have a different perspective. Peep game, for everyone who's watching this video right now, I don't give two shits what the hell you're sexualizing. If it's not a real person and it's nothing but fictional characters that an artist drew up because they're like, oh, I wanted to create this cute character and there's sexual art of this character, guess what? It's going to exist. I don't care. People make sexualized art of freaking anthropomorphic animals. For crying out loud. And we don't know the ages of none of them animals because, like, for example, dogs. Dogs freaking age differently than we humans do. Technically, they should be younger than us, but apparently they're older than us, or whatever the crap that works, right? People make all type of dirty, anthropomorphic, furry artwork all the damn time. I don't care that they do that. Same thing with lolly content. I don't care because, again, these are not real individuals. They are not real victims to be exploited or have been exploited. Again, using your trauma to sit here and be like, oh, this is problematic, to me is a bullshit to push your moral grandstanding because you want to find something to try to be a helpful hand to victims, but unfortunately you're not being a helpful hand. You're actually watering down terms and all the other shit, which you shouldn't be doing because these are serious things. But again, I don't care if someone sexualizes freaking Zhao, the new, hold up, let me see, what's this? Okay, this is my YouTube channel, hold up, let me go to my community post. I made a community post. All right, let's go to post. I made this post a couple hours ago as of me doing this recording. This is the new character coming in Zenless Zone Zero. She is a furry lolly. She is an adult who has a job. She's petite, she's small, she's cute. And I've seen her leaked gameplay. It's adorable. If people make sexualized art about this character, guess what? No one's really going to care on some real shit and be like, oh, let's report this because it's not illegal. It's not morally wrong to draw artwork, pornographic artwork of fictional characters. There's no morality to be brought into that conversation because it's for porn. Porn in itself is not even worth trying to bring a moral argument into unless you're someone who's a Christian or just religious to begin with, or if you believe that, you know, consuming too much porn is a negative effect on the mind of people, which there is truth to that, right? Outside of that, why are we complaining about the pornographic artwork of fictional characters who are fictional characters, not real people or victims that are being exploited? Man. Been on this video for too long.
Of gotcha characters, as long as they are adults. The problem with these characters is not that kids are playable in these games. That's fine. The problem is the reason they are here, and more importantly, the portrayal.
The reason they're here is to be sold as a product, because that's what they are. They're items, they're products meant to make money for the company and for the game, so that the devs can keep updating and optimizing the game so the game can last for longer. That's why there's fan service in it, as stated in the point that I mentioned in my video, or the clip I showed in my video earlier from my old video from a year ago.
There's nothing wrong with Klee herself. She's just a little kid that likes to run around and blow stuff up with bombs she creates. She's a really fun character, and liking her is fine. But the second you start saying that she is the tightest character in the game, that is when you cross the line.
No, you don't. Crossing the line is actually harming a real child. That's what's crossing the line. Making sexual comments about fictional characters is not crossing the line. That's your line that's been crossed. That's not the objective line that's been crossed. No. I've seen people say craziest things about every fictional character that exists in fiction. It don't even freaking matter. People can talk crazy about fictional characters because they have the right to, because they can. You shouldn't be policing people's speech because they make a sexual comment about a fictional character. Who the F cares? Are you about to report these people? The answer is no, you're not. Are these people about to go to jail? Of course they're not. So again, what's the issue here? Besides this pearl clutching, wannabe moral grandstanding, oh, I want to use my trauma as a basis for why I want a moral grandstand.
And once again, I hope a truck runs you over and slowly drags you across the concrete so that you feel your body rip apart as you draw your final, pitiful, worthless.
Cool. Keep that for people who commit actual crimes and not people gooning over fictional characters that have no consequence in real life.
Breath. And on the other side of the coin, you have characters like Jack the Ripper and the Blue Archive characters. Now, if these games were exploring the dark truth of child exploitation.
And here's another thing. We're back to this point again. He wants them to sit here and talk about child exploitation. They are not obligated to do that. If you want to do that as a content creator, you do that. They are not obligated to, especially when their stories have nothing tied or related to that topic. They are not obligated to do that because they sexualize this character. No, they are not obligated to do that in the slightest. The sexualization of these characters, the fan service of these characters, is purely meant to sell a product because these characters are products. They are not real people, but you keep treating them like they're real people. Stop it. It's delusional. Also, how old are you to be sitting here having this viewpoint? I'm freaking 23 going on 24, and even I haven't gotten to this point of retardation, of delusion, sitting here thinking like this.
I would be fine with their existence. I think that is a topic worth exploring, but sadly, these characters are very clearly supposed to arouse the player. Look at this picture. Rey is being shown from a low angle. It doesn't actually show anything, thankfully, but it hints towards the possibility of seeing her panties. Look at the MiHoYo Loligod. All of her pictures emphasize her feet, which are heavily detailed.
The whole entire character is heavily detailed, not just her feet.
This one has her in a maid outfit, heavily blushing, while she pushes down her dress.
Because, again, as I stated earlier, the Asian audience, the creators of the artwork, they view cute as sexy. These poses that they're doing are cute to them. They're cute / sexy. This pose is meant to be cute. That's what this pose is. It's cute. It's a cute pose. That's what it is. I've watched enough anime to understand why it is that they do certain poses and this and the third. Also, there's a terminology that exists for Japan for this type of like, I guess, skirt shot. Actually, no, not this. It's something that happens in like Konosuba. Actually, hold up. Let me see. Let me search it. Let me see if we can search for Konosuba. Hopefully, nothing crazy happens when I Kono. No, yeah, Kono. No. Kona. Come on, I put the search bar. Freaking mother. Give me a second. Konosuba. Like Aqua. This character called Aqua. She's got a whole thing of like the camera going towards her butt all the time, right? And it's like, oh, is she wearing underwear or not? It's like the whole joke tied to that, right? And there's a terminology for it, which I think I remember seeing from a different anime called, I forgot what the terminology is called, but there's a terminology for the whole, oh, her butt is in view, but you can't tell if she's wearing underwear or not because of it. But again, this is for Aqua, or for this type of thing, because, you know, the skirt shot is always like up on Aqua's ass. But for this character right here, this is not even the same. That's not even the same as what goes on with Aqua in Konosuba in the slightest. This is a cute pose. This isn't even really a sexy pose. It's a cute one.
Was the possibility of seeing her panties. Look at the Mihoyo lollygod. All of her pictures emphasize her feet, which are heavily detailed. This one has her in a maid outfit, heavily blushing, while she pushes down her dress in her private area, while a black goo arm is sensually holding her foot. She is...
Maybe because that represents her power, and she can do that? Because she's supposed to be some god-level being that has this black tar ability. There's clearly must be some emphasis of her power being horrifying. She may look cute, but she's clearly meant to be horrifying as well. Possibly. That's probably what this means.
She is a child character with a foot fetish.
Because she can't be a child character if she's an adult. But since you label them as god-level characters, they don't have an age, so therefore they're not children.
Focus. Disgusting. But it doesn't end there. This picture has her laying in bed, licking a lollipop, and heavily blushing. In this one, there's two of her for some reason, and you can almost see her butt, but this random orb is blocking it. There is...
Yeah, there's also a term for that as well. Pretty sure there's a term for that whole thing in general. And it's done on purpose, because again, to sell a product. This whole thing is meant to sell a product. Because without a shot without, they probably sell, cover books of these fictional characters for like conventions or merchandise, and it's like they sell it and people can just put this on their wallpaper or have it on their desktop or have it as a phone screen cover. Like, that's the reason why this product exists. It's purely for the sake of making money, nothing more, nothing less. That's why they add fan service to some of these games, because they're not making enough money and they need to make that money. So guess what? They go down the route of fan service. This is fan service. The small little tidbits of this is more than enough of fan service to make their money.
Literally.
No. And of course, the Hoyoverse, or rather the CEO of Hoyoverse, made a comment years ago saying that their objective is to get otakus, which are the main audience who consumes their content in the first fucking place, to be obsessed with their female characters, to love their female characters, to feel intimate with their female characters so that they can make their money. That's a big thing that we found out years ago, even last year or the year before last year, right? So that's why this content exists. It's purely meant for that. It's meant to be this one-on-one intimacy between this fictional character and of course, the consumer, for this parasocial type connection. It's done deliberately.
No reason.
Not to push pedophilia, but to make money on.
To include any of these details besides trying to arouse the player or imply something sensual. The developers that make these characters are either expressing their own fantasies or are taking advantage of other people's fantasies in order to make money. The player...
Yes, Duh. What you think? No shit, Sherlock.
That enjoy these characters and defend it are blatantly trying to normalize pedophilia.
No, they're not, because you don't know what pedophilia is, and you've proven it throughout this whole video. This feels like this is about to be a 2-hour long reaction.
It does not matter that these characters are not real.
It does matter, because when you're using the words such as pedophilia, which means sexual attraction to real children, not pixels on a damn screen, guess what? You muddy the words and no one takes the words seriously. So guess what? When there is a pedophile that has done something to a child, guess what people's first reaction is going to be? They're going to be like, are we talking about a real victim? Or are we talking about some fictional character from an anime series that someone wanted to freaking pearl clutch about? That's the reaction people have when you sit here and water down these serious words and these serious crimes. And he's done it throughout this whole video. And because of the 3,400 people who's watched this video, they're going to go forward moving thinking, oh, these fictional characters pedophilia. Oh, everyone who draws this sexually is pedophile, blah, 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 blah. And when the actual pedophilic situation happens, guess what? They're going to sit here and cry wolf, be like, oh, pedophilia, pedophilia. And people are going to look at them sideways thinking, is it real pedophilia? Or are we, again, talking about fictional characters because you don't like seeing that? And if this is in that, and this content is there, why the F are you consuming it? If you have such a moral grand problem with it, sounds to me you don't really have an issue with it if it's still in these games that you still fucking play. Ain't that crazy? If you have such a grandiose problem with it, Baldemir, then you need to stop playing these games, because it sounds to me that you're going to end up going down the path of being corrupted and actually liking it yourself, won't you? And then we're going to have a whole circle jerk problem. But if you don't feel that way, if you feel that this is morally a problem, then you need to stop engaging with this content. You need to stop consuming this content. But you're sitting here showing the content on screen throughout this whole video. Hypocrisy at its finest. Anyway.
At the end of the day, you are sexualizing children.
No,
Fuck
that's not
you.
children.
You know what really sucks about this topic? No matter how hard you try, no matter how many examples you give, no matter how desperately you try to make people understand, the creators of these characters and the people who enjoy them will never change. These characters...
Because you're morally grandstanding about fictional content. You're not morally grandstanding about actual children being victims and abused and exploited. You're complaining about fictional content. That's the main issue of all this. This is what it circles back to each and every time. You waste people's time and their real energy and real resources that should be used to help actual child victims. You waste it on stuff such as this. It's complaining about fictional content and not real people. You're not over here helping the police hunt down actual predators who are after children. You're not doing none of that. You're wasting people's time about fictional characters because you didn't like how they were drawn sexually. You ain't like the fact that this character had an arbitrary age of 15, despite the fact the character is drawn curvaceously. No one cares about that, and that's why there's no change that happens. There's no big grandiose overhaul that happens. That's the reason, because it's not an issue. People like you deem it as an issue when it's not really an issue. That's why no one takes it seriously anymore. Over the last couple years, from I think 2022 till now, there's been a grand pushback on it because you have blatant tourists being like, oh, I'm an anime fan while only watching mainstream anime. And being like, oh, I declare that this content is problematic, therefore anyone who likes it is also problematic. No, nigga. Absolutely not. This content is fine. You just don't like it. And if you don't like it, don't consume the content. Don't watch it. Don't go near it. You have the option to, but you choose not to. You can tell how passionate I am about this topic and how seriously I take it.
Characters will continue to be made and people will continue to fantasize about children.
No one's
I could
fantasizing
keep
about
talking
children.
about this, giving more examples and explanations, but I think I've made my point.
You really haven't. You've shown to me that you take fictional characters seriously over real people. That's what you've shown me. You've shown me that you want to use your trauma as a basis to gain sympathy points to then be like, oh, look how right I am. No. You even, again, with the Jufufu point, sit here and ignore the official information about her character to still claim that she was a child to push your point. Throughout this whole video, it's been nothing but bullshit. I'm over here cursing my head off. I'm cursing like a sailor. Oh my Lord in heaven. Let's get this video done now. I gotta get it done
If
now.
after hearing all of this, you still think there's nothing wrong with Lolis, then nothing else I say could possibly convince you otherwise.
Because your arguments were terrible.
Because of how dark this video's topic is,
This video's topic isn't dark at all, actually. It's pretty freaking vanilla. If there was some actual child abuse going on with the creation of these lolly characters, I would be on your side. But that's not what's happening. At all. There's no real victims, no nothing. But you want to sit here and paint it as some, oh, this is a dark topic. There's no dark topic at all.
if you want to watch some of my other videos, I recommend something more fun and lighthearted. For example, I specifically recommend my Shadow Generations review and my video talking about Dynasty Warriors Origins. Feel free to share your own thoughts and opinions in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe.
I'm so glad I got through this video. I'm so done with this video. This video is fucking terrible. It's trash. It's horrendous. Oh my lord. I'm sorry that this reaction is going to be a 2-hour long reaction, but do understand it is because I am passionate about this topic and I'm dead serious about it. When I sit here and see people misuse words about real crimes and sit here and blend fictional content with real life and sit here and try to be like, oh, it's all underneath the same gaze. It's like, no, it's not. It's really not. Anyway, like, sub, turn on the notification bell, join the YouTube community Discord if you wish to. Go check out my yapping reactions and yapping topic discussions that I have on my channel. Playlists are on the channel. You will see it when you scroll, looking through them. I stream these gacha games, and I'm going to be streaming some non-gacha games as well as I continue forward to, diversify my content and all this other stuff. I will leave a link to this channel in the description. Y'all can go watch the video for yourselves. But this video is a terrible video. It is horrendous. It is bad. And what's crazy is I understand wanting to protect children, but if we're sitting here bitching about fictional content rather than actually, going after people who actually are in children's spaces and being blatantly manipulative to try to capture children to get them to do what they want and send illegal pictures and whatnot, like with the Roblox thing that's happened like 2 months ago or a month ago, right? If that's not what this conversation is about and we're complaining about fictional characters rather than actual people that are actually going after children, then this conversation about lolly characters is freaking useless. It's meaningless because it holds no weight and there's no change that happens from it because it's not a serious issue. Let's go focus on some real issues versus complaining about fictional characters. Anyway, see y'all later. Peace. Later. Good lord.